Welcome. How's everyone doing? Straturday night. Welcome, everyone. Happy to be here. We got myself. We got Johnny Beane in the house. I know. I'm a comedy legend.
Who's doing that with the machine? Oh,
I don't know. Who could that be? Where did you get that thing?
Target.
Welcome, everyone.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Target. That's right.
Yes.
Straturday night. So, how you doing, Johnny?
I'm good.
How's things out west?
Things are good, man. Like I was just telling you before we started the show, I was watching a benefit for Santa Cruz. Past couple hours on YouTube, and it was on Facebook as well. Kind of like this show.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, and it was cool. A lot of local bands and stuff. But the real reason I was watching it is because Sammy Hagar was on it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool.
Different performances and stuff. Did he do anything interesting?
Did he do anything interesting?
I'm hearing voices.
Oh,
yeah.
At all?
Yeah. He played guitar and sang, was singing a song, and was talking about Santa Cruz.
Oh, yeah, that's what he does. Plays guitar and sings.
Yes. It sounds like everything he does. Hi.
Hey, man.
Paul, how you doing?
I don't know.
You just kind of snuck in there.
Tonight?
You snuck in there. It's a a little snappy tonight. But
is it? God damn it. I don't know. I can't figure out why. What's wrong with my...
It's snappy. It's like Roth would love it. It's got the snappy beat. And it's like...
I gotta get a new audio interface or whatever it is. I tried.
It's not the audio. I don't know what it could be. It's
no. It's the interface.
Yeah.
It's a friggin' Scarlett 212.
Keep it simple.
It's supposed to be simple. It's supposed to work right, but it doesn't because something to do with the internal clock and sample rate and.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I can't adjust it. I can't sync it. Like it says inside that the clock is locked, but it doesn't say that it's synced. So I have no idea if I'm sending the right signal, and I can't do it. Like this interface is so stupid and allegedly simple that it's supposed to be plug and play, but it's neither.
What kind of connection is it? Like a USB connection?
Yeah, it's your typical USB. Connect to the back of the computer, download the drivers, let it go.
Download the drivers. Oh, there's the problem. It's Windows.
Oh, excuse me.
Well,
Mac
it's plug and play with Mac. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's plug and play with Windows too.
Okay.
By the way,
you gotta download the drivers.
By the way, which is the dominant operating system?
I don't know.
Suck it.
I have no idea.
Exactly.
I like my Mac, but I'm using a Chromebook right here, so this is a Windows machine.
Oh.
Nice.
So I got no leg to stand on. It's the best of both worlds. Come on, best of both worlds.
I do the same thing. Most of my home units are Windows-based PCs. But damned if I don't use my iPad more than anything else.
Yeah.
I use my iPad for just about everything. I could use it for this too, but I don't want to.
There you go.
Yeah, my iPad is from like 2013 or something, so I can't use it for anything.
I have an older one. Yeah, me too.
Nothing.
Yeah,
I can't do it. Freezes.
I haven't used it in probably 2 years.
I have a first generation iPad mini that I use for like if we do remotes and stuff like that with the nerdy Van Halen screensaver.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then the
screensaver. You can have screensavers on iPads?
No, not a screen. Yeah, like a this
home screen.
Background. The home screen. Yeah.
Wallpaper.
And of course wings not rings.
Rings not rings.
I know this group you should join, man.
Yeah.
Tell Jay that. Yeah, he was talking about that last night.
Yeah, wings not rings. And but then my other iPad, the one that I actually use for home stuff. I love Apple stuff. It's just too goddamn expensive.
I know. Believe me,
it really
I know.
is expensive for the same thing. I mean, if I didn't tell you, you're watching the three of us. Who's using? Is anybody else using Mac software? Are you?
I'm not right now. I'm all PC.
All right, so we're all using PC, and yet we're throwing stones from inside a glass house.
I know. Everything behind me is Mac, though. Everything in front of me is Mac.
There you go.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And so we all use the same shit.
Mac.
Yeah, we all use the same shit. We just we hypocritically throw stones at each other because whichever one trust me, except that. I don't have one of those because I have a Target in my neighborhood. I just don't shop there.
You have to fix that.
Yeah, well, somebody was supposed to send me one months ago and never did. And a Poof t-shirt and never did. Shots fired.
Oh, flat.
Oh man. Randy Price before the timer runs out up there. Thank you so much, man.
Paul knows Randy Price. You know Randy Price, right?
I do know Randy, yeah.
From Boston.
Hello, Randy.
Wow, everybody knows Randy around here.
Whore. I mean,
good to see you, man.
Goodness.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And by the way, what is it? It's midnight 07 where John BL is. By the way,
06. Oh well, the date is 06.
Well, no, but the time
December
is 07.
Oh, exactly.
Midnight 07. By the way, happy birthday to your mom.
You had to say it first.
Well,
yes, happy birthday
also,
to my mom, December 6th. Happy birthday
to Randy Rhodes.
Oh, excellent. There you go.
Yes.
Tying it right back to guitar playing.
Yes, December 6th. Well, December 5th here, 2020.
Yeah, but on the East Coast, it's after midnight, so it's Randy's birthday.
After midnight. Let it all hang out.
Yes.
Please don't.
Yeah. And thank you to our executive producers, Charles Green, Joe Christian, Wayno A, Thomas Santiago, Music Therapy Laz, Bent Tom, who I see in the chat, Mike Neese, Frank Corcoran, Michael Smith, who will not be here again tonight.
We miss you, Captain.
Michael's one of those guys that's on call and has to work tonight. So that's unfortunate on a cold winter night that Michael was being called into work. Because for those of you that don't know, he lives in a snowy part of the country. So
yeah,
it sucks for him tonight because it's probably very, very
the Rocky
cold
Mountains.
Yeah,
he's out there out west.
Yeah, David Ennis.
Rare appearance from Lemmy tonight. She just decided to stick her head into the thing. So
Lemmy. Hey, has anybody heard from David Ennis? Anybody in the chat? I haven't seen David Ennis for like a long time anywhere. So let me know if he's okay, because you just kind of wonder when someone's around like all the time, then all of a sudden they're just, you don't see them, you know.
I've had listeners die. True story, where like, you know, we were joking about it on the show. Like, hey, we haven't heard from, there was this guy we used to call Rebel because he had a real twang to his accent. And he called, and the first time he called the show, he was like, you Yankee cocksuckers. Like, he hated us for whatever. I'm like, Yankee, we're in fucking Arizona. But he would refer to us as Yankees all the time, my partner and myself. And then we didn't hear from him for like 8 or 9 months. And we have a bunch of like recorded drops of him, you know, his voice, because it's funny, and him yelling at us and stuff. And then we didn't hear from him for like 8 or 9 months, and we got an email from his daughter saying he'd passed.
Oh no.
And we were using his voice on the air long after he was dead. So she asked if we could send her the audio of him like yelling at us and all these things to remember him by, because I guess she didn't have it and they were sort of estranged. So it's really weird when you say something like that to David Ennis. Obviously, my first thoughts are, I hope he's okay. I hope he's well.
Sure.
Because when people go missing like that, especially on the internet, when a place that we're so frequently connected, when silence usually equals danger or trouble. So somebody should check on
life
David
event,
Ennis.
some kind of a
Make
life
sure he's
event
all
or
right.
something.
Yeah. Make sure he's cool.
Yeah, I hope he is, because he's a long time. He's been watching these shows for
It's
years
legend,
and years
man.
and years.
Legendary.
Yeah, and I know what it's like. You know, you have people on Twitter you talk to, and you know all the time. The next thing you know, you think about it, and you're like, wait a minute, whatever happened to so and so? And unless you really knew them, they're just gone.
Yeah,
you know,
and there's a couple of those people now on my Facebook list right now. Like I just saw today, one guy was like, he was posting on his wife's social media, on his wife's Facebook account, saying that he was going to pick up her ashes. I'm like, ashes? What the hell happened?
Man.
You know what I mean? She was young.
Yeah.
Weird life event. All of a sudden, again, radio silence on the internet is usually not good news. Hopefully we're wrong on this one. Somebody check in on David Ennis, make sure he's all right.
Yeah, let's hear from you, Dave.
Yes.
Can't wait to see you back.
Dad Halen. And Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael.
We'll hear from Steve Carmichael. Make no mistake about that.
We'll hear from his lawyers.
There he is. Hey, Steve Carmichael.
There you go.
There he is.
Say his name one more time. He'll appear.
Don't sue us, Steve, please.
Steve Carmichael.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are the executive. That's the top tier of the channel membership here on the YouTube side.
Click the join button, definitely.
If you'd like to become a channel member, have your name in green, have a little guitar next to your name, have special features, bonus content. And for our Facebook friends, we don't have a channel membership yet, but we do have Facebook stars.
Star of the day. Who will it be?
Brand new feature on Facebook, Johnny Beane TV page. That's the way you can get your comments highlighted and be seen, and help support the show. So,
well, what does the show need support for?
For bad microphones.
Yeah.
I mean, I can switch back over to the board if you want, but I was getting audio critiqued from John BL last week. He said it sounded like AM radio. I'm like, and then I went back and listened to it. I go, it didn't sound that different.
Well, switch back. Let's do a taste test right here. What do you prefer?
Coke or Pepsi? I don't drink either.
You don't drink either?
No, I used to be really into cherry Coke for a long time, and then I can't handle that much caffeine.
No.
I literally go crazy.
Probably once a week I have a soda, a Coke or actually here, right? I'll do it like a rum and Coke. So cheers, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Water.
That's about it. Yeah. Getting too old for this. The anticipation. Here we go. I remember the Pepsi challenge. I remember at the Methuen Mall in this area, we had and they had the Pepsi challenge set up, whatever it was in 1985 or something like that. Or who brought it? Pepsi was the one that brought it on. Obviously, it was against New Coke.
New Coke was like 84. Bill Cosby did the New Coke thing, and then
Pepsi
challenge might have been around that time because it was Pepsi. Michael J. Fox was the big Pepsi dude at that time. I think the choice of a new generation. I think.
And then they did that stupid Crystal Pepsi thing with Van Halen, and that ate shit.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the stupid Crystal Pepsi thing that they did with
this
Van Halen
stuff.
That ate shit. Yeah. Yes, it was awful.
Is that a new one?
Yeah. Well, it's a recent one, not a new one. It's just water.
So what's the sound difference? Are we better now?
What do you think?
Yeah.
It's better because it doesn't have the clicks. So
all right. So now I can EQ it too and make it a little bit better, little crisper. What do we want to do?
It's a little like, but it's okay. It's like
it's a little muddy. All right, well, why don't we do that? We'll just take this out. Now, is it better?
It sounds fine. It sounds excellent.
You're lying.
I have no complaints. No complaints. No, it sounds great, Paul.
Alrighty then, fine.
Trust me.
We'll do that for now.
No, you sound good.
Yeah, Jeff Alexander says I sound fine. He would know.
There you go. You wearing headphones, Jeff?
Wow. By the way, I don't want to be the one to be an audio snob.
Did you see that? What just happened? Did I freeze? I think
no. Paul froze.
Oh,
did I?
You froze. The face map was.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to be an audio snob, but John BL, you get an awful lot of room ambience. It sounds like you're recording inside a bathroom sometimes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the sound slap off your walls is there's a little ring there. So
as long as it's the mic, if the mic's working, I'm happy.
I'm just saying, George Martin, don't be sitting there and throwing slinging stones my way.
There's a good frozen
Templeman
face right there. That was last night with Jay.
Oh, Jay was making guitar face.
Frozen guitar face.
Guitar face.
I'm sure we'll see Jay in a little while.
Guitar duck face.
Guitar duck face. Great.
John, I can hear the AM-ish. I can hear that.
In Paul's?
In Paul,
audio?
yeah. It's cool, though.
Thank you.
It's kind of cool.
That's it. It's great. It's all good.
I'll take a little top end off. I guess Santa Cruz 3600 says I need to take a little top end off. So there you go.
You know what's weird
fine.
about your mic? It almost sounds like you have two microphones on. Because you can hear this, but you can also hear like a little bit of the room as well, like every once in a while.
Well, that's because there's a
Apparently
gate. I'm sure there's a gate in
too.
it. I'm sure there's a gate in this microphone that only picks up when I'm speaking. You can hear everything around, and then it closes down. I imagine.
In the software, probably not in the mic, but in the software, yeah.
Somewhere that whatever. I've got I'm running through my mic input from a Behringer board now instead of the
It's much better. We don't hear the clicking, and it sounds fine.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get a better interface. If anybody wants to buy a Focusrite Scarlett 2-channel that you can probably use that I can't, you let me know.
That's smashed.
It's not smashed. It's fine. It's in mint condition. It should work fine.
Cheap, real cheap.
Not yet. One that has dog teeth in it.
It might. I might give it to Ace later. Friggin' dogs.
We love them. Come on. How's Ace doing tonight? Is he in a rambunctious mood or what?
Ace is, he's always in a rambunctious mood. He's got a ball that he keeps dropping underneath this chair. Like he's figured out that if he puts something underneath the chair, I'll reach down and grab it and play with it. And that's what he keeps doing.
What must he think?
See, he keeps this ball right here that he's sitting nice and pretty for right now. He really wants this ball.
Daddy's talking to the TV again.
Yep.
Daddy's talking to the machine again. He's ignoring me and talking to the screen.
Yep. He knows better, though, because I do production in this room with this computer. I think he knows that I think he can see the images on the computer screen.
Oh, I hope so.
There's other people, yeah.
You're just thinking you're just talking to a wall or talking to a stick here,
Yeah, Santa Cruz 3600 was watching Tuesday night when Ace started eating my Slash figure.
Oh, that's right. I saw some of that.
Yeah.
How's Slash doing?
I haven't. The Slash is fine. I just didn't. I haven't fixed the guitar strap yet. He got the guitar strap off the Les Paul.
Tasty guitar strap.
Yes. Chewed right through it.
Mm-hmm.
Dipshit.
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa's old cough medicine. That's right.
Who's in the chat? We have a lot of.
Oh, good question.
A lot of people here, like Craig Vinum. Hey, sponsor of the Halloween show. Vinum Pickups. Yeah, I got to try some of those, Craig.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, which is code for, hey, Craig, why don't you send me some free shit? I mean, I'm not saying I don't need your pickups, Craig.
Tessie Switch we're a proud
Don't
sponsor.
Don't forget Tessie Switch.
Proud sponsor of Tessie Switch kill switches and more.
FU Tone in the house. I don't know if he's in the house.
That's right.
But you'll plug him anyway.
I need to get myself an FU Tone bridge for this. They do non-Floyd. They do like the 78 style bridges, don't they? They do they'll do a block.
Yeah,
block
they
right?
have bridges. Yeah, bridges and basically everything for that guitar they have.
Yeah. So
don't talk about Edwin Crane. He's not here.
Edwin?
Just in case anybody's wondering, Edwin Crane says he's not here.
He's left the building.
Don't talk about him.
Edwin Crane has left the building. Who else is here? Cheech, Brian Spalding, Bent Tom. Edward Crane is not here. Janice Lala. Johnny Joe Harmon drum and guitar videos. Welcome, Johnny.
Welcome.
Joe Harmon.
Nothing like putting your entire plug in your screen name.
In your name?
Yeah.
How many characters do they give you?
That's what Rob did for his channel. Rob Johnson does that for his channel. It's like Rob Johnson's EVH
martial
guitars,
arts, security, guitar builds.
Yeah, everything is on one thing.
Oh man, Kevin Bethel is here. Kevin Coachell, Lenny Lou. People are leaving as I'm watching here. Renus Panko, Rico B, Robot Master Switch, Sandra Picorni, Santa
You gotta sing it, man.
3600. I'm not singing that. That's Mancuda all the way. Steve Carmichael, Thrash Metal and Fun Riffs, and all the rest. Welcome, Johnny Beane, Barry McCockiner.
McCockner, yeah. We're going to start with that already.
Welcome. Oh, is that a...
yes, it is.
I haven't heard that. I haven't seen that name yet, so...
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. It's going to be an exciting Straturday night.
Oh, it already is.
Yes.
It's so exciting tonight.
Sandra Picorni wants me to sing her name, and that's just what you expect me to do.
That's your territory. Oh.
You know you want to. You can feel it. It's an earworm.
It is an earworm. Yes. So, what's in the news today, boys? What's going on?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little tired of hearing about Wolfgang Van Halen.
Oh, man.
No. Like the things that we hear. The things that we're hearing about him are like obvious things that we've heard about already. So now we've gotten to the point where the interviews are now becoming redundant.
Yeah, people stretching for news stories.
Yeah, they're trying to find something new for it. At this point, okay, great single, great interview. Yes, we know Mammoth was the name of the band before they were called Van Halen. All those things are happening. Now it's starting to get, now it's starting to get to that point where it's becoming repetitive and redundant. And unfortunately, there's nothing else to be sort of gleaned from it. And even he's getting frustrated, obviously. Like him getting frustrated with the guitar auction that just happened the other day, even though that guitar auction was scheduled before Eddie passed. And it was documented that guitar auction was scheduled before Eddie passed. It was part of a much bigger program, but Wolfgang felt obliged to opine upon it. And then the other thing that I thought was really annoying, and I will tell you this is the first negative thing I have to say about Wolfgang Van Halen, is him putting his blessing on the right for David Lee Roth to play Van Halen music on the side. That's a little pretentious. That's a little bit overstepping your boundary. If you're the son of Eddie Van Halen, of course David Lee Roth has the right to play that music. He has more right to play that music than you do.
Well, Wolfgang's not going to play it.
I understand that, but that was the thing. Like
great.
2 weeks ago, that was the biggest question was, will you play Van Halen music? And it's like, no, I'm not going to play Van Halen music. That's my father's thing. Right. Well, him saying, well, Dave has all the right in the world to play Van Halen music. Of course he does.
But that could be another one of those stories where someone's just taken, an odd, something that we all know that, it's not an issue with Wolfgang.
Unless it comes straight from Wolfgang's Twitter or his Facebook or Instagram. Don't believe everything you read.
No, I understand.
On the internet.
No, wow, really? Breaking news on the Straturday Night Live show: some internet content false reported.
Especially from those websites. Those websites, they bend and switch all these words around just to get you to click.
I don't think he's thinking about his internet exposure at this point. He's maybe thinking, about, he did a few interviews in 1 week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And
since then, I think a lot of the stuff has been people scrutinizing, what he said in those interviews and taking little quotes out of it and saying, okay, this is, Wolfgang's headline here, and making it rock news or making it, whatever it may be. I mean, that's what I would guess. I don't think he's going out of his way to post these stories or anything like that. I think people are taking it and running with it.
And in the spirit of fairness, a lot of these interviews are not national. They're local radio station interviews that are being regurgitated by Bori. The guy's name is Bori. I'm not going to plug the site, but we all know who we're talking about. And he just takes those interviews and recycles and recycles and recycles. And it's interesting because the first paragraph of the interview is one sliver of new information. And then the next 3 paragraphs are essentially a press release about what's happened over the past 11 months.
Van Halen, formed in 1970, 4 or first album, and
Yeah. It's like all of
that.
a sudden it's a little Wikipedia cut and paste hack job. Which the unfortunate part is those sites tend to be the ones that are the most prevalent, the most referenced, and the most visited. And so
it's clickbait.
By default, that becomes the somewhat of the trusted source, when in fact it's not. It's a glorified gossip site,
right?
That doesn't care as long as it gets all the clicks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't believe what he wrote next. Click here.
Well, I saw something about Eddie's will, like what Edward left in his will to different people, and as soon as I clicked. Well, as I read the sub headline, and I'm like, no, this isn't real.
Never believe that headline.
No.
Huh?
How about that one that came out? The one that came out like literally and respectfully, he wasn't even dead, I don't think, a day, and somebody was pointing out the falsified alleged donation to some CBD oil.
CBD oil.
Yeah. Do you remember that? That was like the ultimate in ghoulish, ridiculous.
Immediately
nonsense.
After he passed. Yeah.
Yeah. Some CBD company like immediately tried to jump on that comet trail,
and they did it with other people too. There was another one from, I don't know if it was. I'm assuming it was the same company, but it was somebody else who had passed. I'd have to look it up, but it was another one that company was like plastering someone's name on, a famous person, and saying it was, or maybe they weren't dead yet, or maybe it was just, saying, whatever, but it was the same idea, CBD oil saved this person, or.
And then the second one is every time somebody famous passes, we get the slew of bootleg merchandise posts on social media. Like now there's a company that's doing the fake striped Converse, with the trademarked VH logo
all over Facebook.
Yeah, because I think they believe that. Hang on a second, I'm ripping a CD while we talk.
As long as that's what you're ripping.
Yeah, I think they believe that because there's a lull. Yeah, there's a lull in official activity, that there's going to be some sort of a window where they can infringe on that trademark, and I'm guessing that's not the case.
No, I run that Van Halen group, and it's you wouldn't believe that the people that try to pass as actual fans to get in there to peddle that bootleg crap.
Oh yeah,
right. It's they're getting good. They're getting good.
Yeah.
I'm actually believing some of these people are actually like real. Well, for one thing, they're real. I'm believing they're real people for one thing, and that they're fans.
The other, but
they did their homework.
Unless there be any question about, with, like, for example, somebody would say, well, how can you rip on people that are bootlegging things like that, and then look at what John Biel is doing to that guitar behind him? John Biel was painting that guitar behind him for personal use, whatever. But that's personal use. That's his thing. It's a tribute that he painted. He bought all the parts. He put it together. He's not denying anybody any revenue.
$1,000 for it. No. I would never sell it. Never sell it.
No, but I mean that's the point. He's not selling it. He's not trying to profit.
That guitar is not even worth $1,000.
Not even close.
But it's like, but neither was Eddie's original.
Right.
The point being,
sorry, I shouldn't show this part because Caleb will get obsessive compulsive.
Yeah,
that's a upper horn.
That's no different than anybody putting together a model and painting it the way they wanted to paint a model. He's not trying to profit off it. But these people that are immediately trying to sell, commemorative posters, like the commemorative paintings that I'm seeing, and basically they've taken one of Ross Halfin's pictures, scanned it, blew it up, put a frame on it, and then put a EVH Forever on the bottom right corner, and they're selling it for $300 online.
That's outrageous.
Those people are morons.
Yeah. Well, what about the people that actually do? Like, I noticed somebody on Etsy. Somebody posted something in my group earlier that, like, something they actually like handmade or something. I mean, that's
a tribute.
As long as
it's a tribute, and
as long as it's not a trademark infringement. Does it have the VH logo on it? Does it have the stripes on it? You know what I mean? Like, if they're doing something,
that's not really an infringement. I don't think that's a trademark. I mean, it's using a logo, but.
What is the trademark? Because we know the colors, the combination of those colors, the stripes, Is that on anything? Is that on guitars? Is it on
That's a patent. I think that's one of his patents, isn't it?
on a comb?
That painting,
Is that-
no, that pattern. If you have you ever owned? Maybe Jay will be able to answer this. If you own a trademark or a service mark, it says in the registration of it, because I had one for my band at one point, that says when regarding music performance and or anything related to music, cannot be used in exact or in near such reference to as to cause public confusion. And there's Jay, confused.
Hi, Jay.
That's
right
what Jay has to say. Thanks for joining us. Yeah,
Well,
so it can be.
I mentioned fair use. Fair use is one thing. Profiting off of it is not fair use. That's commerce.
Well, this is the perfect example. If I was to profit off this, that would be, that's against,
Yeah.
That's against fair use.
against fair use. Sure,
Yeah.
That's unfair. That's unfair use.
it's just unfair.
So unfair. By the way, I saw Dane earlier today, and he's still basking in the afterglow of his performance on Halloween.
Ace.
He's hoping the award shows don't overlook him.
He'll never come back on because he can.
That's what he said.
He can never top that performance.
It's the high point. Yeah.
That's what he said. He said it's a mic drop moment. I just got to let
That
it go.
George Costanza, always leaving a high note.
Mhm.
We love you, Dane. Come on back.
Yeah, we
anytime.
miss you.
Come on back anytime.
But
Yes.
you have to be.
But you got to dress like Ace Frehley and be sad.
Yeah, as long as you're Ace. Or someone equally depressive. Jay, how you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Just good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
Fair enough.
the last couple of days have been crazy. You know, Christmas time with a 4-year-old. We all remember.
Oh, man.
You know, that's what I was telling Jeannie
I don't
tonight
remember.
after I put Ellie to bed. I'm like, man, I was a lunatic around Christmas time, man. So this is like the
It's the
first
only thing
year
on their mind. Yeah, right.
This is the first Christmas where like she totally gets, you know, what's happening. You know, Elvira is here, the elf on the shelf.
You named it
Elvira.
Elvira. That's
Elvira?
Elvira. Ellie named her Elvira.
Wow.
beautiful.
So,
Jay, I'm not sure you're aware of this, but your daughter may be gay. Because I love Elvira as much as
Cassandra.
she loves Elvira.
Paul,
What?
that's the second dumbest thing you said tonight.
Not the second dumbest thing I said.
Hey, Joanne.
Oh man.
Man, well, Jay, I was almost going to wear that shirt, so I'm glad you wore it.
Well, I'm pissed that you didn't.
Yeah. I woke up. I got out of bed at 2 o'clock
got
this
up.
afternoon. Actually, I got up at 7, did a bunch of stuff, and then went back to bed, and at 2 o'clock got back up and then put this one on. You know? This is a bootleg shirt. Somebody sent me. But somebody sent it to me as a present.
How dare you?
Bastard.
On the show live, you're admitting right now.
Yeah, but they sent it to me. You know, people buy them.
I have a couple of those bootlegs.
You know, everything that you see here, I got for free.
Yes, officer. I know the cocaine is in my pocket, but it was given to me.
It was in the pocket when I got it.
I didn't buy it.
Somebody sent me this shirt. Nice shirt. My friend Michael Gutierrez gave me this hat. You know, the guy that Eddie gave the guitar to at NAMM. And then I won this jacket from Hulu.
That woman's jacket.
This is a
Sorry,
TV show.
your wife won the jacket.
Well, she won it for me. Yeah. It's a women's jacket.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Speaking of hats, wait, Johnny, isolate again. when you mentioned hats, I looked over on your chair, and I honestly thought that blue, I don't know what that is hanging on your chair. I thought it was one of those poker visors.
Oh yeah, the visor.
With the clear, you know what I mean?
It looks like
Like the see-through
tennis visor
Over your left
What is it?
shoulder.
rim.
Other shoulder.
You're on the left.
Chair. The
The chair behind
The
you.
chair behind you.
Oh,
There you go.
this.
Yeah.
That's Ned's cone of shame
Okay, I thought it
when
was
he had
one
his
of those
surgery.
poker visor.
That's what that is.
Cats have a cone of shame too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
he didn't scratch. He
Must
he
be
got
a bitch to keep them on. Cats are motherfuckers when they don't.
he was in a cat fight at one point, and he got scratched up, and some sort of like something grew on him, and we had to get it chopped off.
You said growth, you know.
Oh man.
Oh, Dad.
What's that? Cat scratch fever.
Oh, yeah, I was backwards. What was I just gonna say? Oh yeah, my cat, man. There's one time, man, we brought him to the vet. He's one-eyed Willie. He's only got one eye.
Oh, really?
And the cat carrier, right? We ruined him. We had to drive 12 hours when we moved from New York to South Carolina. 12 hours with 2 cats. That was not fun. So we bought these like oversized cat carriers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we took 2 tiny litter boxes. And I'm like, well, how am I going to get them to stay for the litter boxes to not be shifting around? Velcro, right? So I Velcro stripped the litter boxes in the back corner of the cat carriers.
Johnny, where's the cat sound effects? You got the dog sound effects.
12 hours with 2 cats.
Oh God, that's horrible.
Yeah, they were tormented. So I think it was one of the last times we brought my cat to the vet. We used to do this thing where we had in our old house, the laundry room was connected to the bathroom, and then the other side of the laundry room was like a thin, kind of hallway. So the house, the garage, and I know I'm rambling, but you understand why.
We have time. That's good.
Ben Tom understands. So our plan was, okay, Jeannie, I'll go in the garage, I'll grab the cat carrier, right?
Slow down.
I'll bring Willie.
Tell us the long version.
I'll tell Willie or Wilson, whatever you want to call him. I'll carry him into the laundry room, and then we'll rendezvous. If you show him the cat carrier, he's gone. You'll never find him. Right? Hidden in the walls. So we had to like rendezvous. Bring him in there with the thing.
He's in the walls again.
So I'm holding him right. The second he comes walking in,
wrong animal.
The second she comes walking in with the cat carrier, I go to like put him in it, like she was holding it, on an angle so I could just drop him in, right? He just starts whizzing, just like a stream right on Jeannie. And she's like, oh. And I'm just holding
Cats
him,
are good
I have no idea what to do. It's like, he's peeing, So that was,
oh man.
Yeah. Man,
cats are great.
One of those moments, man. Yeah, the cats. Some cats don't like that stuff at all.
No.
Ned actually peed in the kitchen today because
Ned.
He meowed at me twice, 2 different times. But I just looked at him. I'm like, oh, not realizing he was telling me that he wanted to go out. So that's what I heard. Is you have to listen. Your cats, they talk to you, and you have to listen to them. But he peed on the rug in the corner, so he was good. Oh no, not the actual we have wooden floors. There's no actual carpet in here. It's
okay.
A rug I can just throw in the washer.
There you go.
Well, I don't even know if you throw it in the washer. Cat pee, man. Cat pee is
where's the
worst.
Cat pee. Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
You have a cat pee sound effect?
Yeah, I do actually. Hold on. No, I have a cat desktop.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I can find it.
Oh my gosh.
So what's going on, guys?
Somewhere.
Man, just I don't know. Nothing
Hanging
around
and
here. Had dinner. Yeah, I didn't actually really get up till like 2 this afternoon.
Didn't get up.
Get up.
Hanging around. I was telling John BL I was watching this benefit on Nugs TV.
Nugs. I didn't know it was Nugs. I'm subscribed to Nugs.
Yeah, it was Nugs.
Nugs.
Yeah.
That was one of Paulie Shore's slang words. What he used to call them Nugs, right?
Or wasn't it Jay and Silent Bob?
I don't know. Paulie Shore is cool, man. I've several months ago I was watching a bunch of his videos. from his house, him and his band playing and stuff. I think it was Paulie. Yeah.
The Weasel.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and he has like a producer like in another room around. He's got his own John BL like in the corner in the other room running the board, and then yeah.
Jeannie and I saw him stand up last year. He was good, man. He was. I think I might have mentioned this on the show, but he was one of those guys. Like he was huge at one point, right? MTV, making movies, all that stuff. Then all of a sudden,
Biodome,
just gone, just right. And usually, a lot of times when that happens to people, they're bitter about it. They for some reason, he was like, kind of burning on himself a couple times and just openly talking about it. Like, and I'm like, see, that's cool. A lot of people, they get in that situation, and then they come back a little bit. They don't like talking about it and all this stuff. But he was super cool, man. I have more respect for him, after.
Well, was it a character? Like, I mean, was that whole shtick? It was a character, right? I mean, I guess in his stand-up,
his entire everything you see of him in public is a character,
right?
I hope.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess his stand-up probably involved a lot of that, but it was like, if you talk to him as
he was the stony, crusty dude. I mean, I remember I had my brother had one of his stand-up CDs, and whatchamacallit, the hell was I even trying to say?
Yeah, but like Gilbert Gottfried, it was a character,
right?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. He was,
and he's got Comedy Store money. Like he owns that. He's now the guy. So he has nothing to be bitter about.
Yeah,
he's got early MTV.
His mom owned it or something.
It's not like he went broke or something. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He said he was very smart with his investments as well, or his money. But no, like when you watch the old Paulie Shore, he was like 100% we so buddy, all that stuff.
Yeah.
When we saw him do stand up, he always has that kind of like, like that maybe 10% of the weasel.
Right.
But he's talking kind of normal, and then every once in a while he'd like, just bust it out. It's
like Jim Brewer. Jim Brewer will do the like the AC/DC thing, or he'll go into like a rock god or something, the character.
No, what I'm saying is that Paulie Shore is like 10% of what the weasel character is.
Sure.
Yeah. No,
but there's always the regular comedian under there. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw an interview with him, and I think he was talking about how he disappeared for a lot of years, and then maybe he was depressed or something, and then just did a comeback, and now he's who he is, and we all know who he is, but he can be more himself now, I think.
Yeah.
Than having to be
what's interesting is
like that
he
character.
used to tour with Sam Kinison a lot, obviously because they were friends, and Kinison used to like rip him apart for the character and how obnoxious it was. And that maybe it was the cocaine talking, whatever. But it was almost like Paulie Shore was getting sort of abused, like verbally abused by Sam Kinison, and it didn't seem like it was a joke after a certain point. Like it goes past the point where you kind of go, "All right, enough, Sam. You've done enough." And he's like, "Oh no, I haven't gone far enough yet. This kid's not realizing." And then Paulie would pull out the goes, "You know who my mother is, right?" And Kinison, "I don't give a fuck who your mother is." I'm like, "All right. This is going to go in. This is going to end well."
I just saw that in the chat. His mother is
Mitzi Shore.
Mitzi Shore. Who is that? The owner of the Comedy Store.
Comedy Store, yeah. Who I think his father owned it and then willed it to Mitzi on his death. I think was the way that went. I could be wrong, but I know that she didn't originally own it. I think his father originally started it.
Yeah, man. Encino Man was a great movie. I mean, when you watch some of these movies,
never saw it.
When you watch some
Biodome,
never saw it.
Like Biodome. Oh my God, that's one of those movies where if I didn't see it when I was younger and remember back then, if I like watched it on a fresh slate at this age, I'd be like, they actually made a movie like this. Like,
who was the other guy in that? That was Sean Astin. Was it Sean Astin?
No, one of the Baldwins. Stephen Baldwin, I think, or Billy Baldwin.
What
is it? Billy? Yeah.
Which one? Encino Man?
No, Stephen. It was Stephen.
Biodome?
Stephen was the. No, Encino Man was Brendan. Yeah. Encino Man was Brendan
Fraser. Oh, okay, that's
Sean Astin. Yeah.
Sean
or Brendan Fraser. I don't think it's Fraser. I think it's Fraser.
Yeah. Fraser.
Yeah, Paulie Shore is actually messing. I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram or whatever, but he posted something like a week or so ago posted a picture with him, Brendan Fraser. I can't even say that.
Yeah.
And Sean Astin, and saying, "Hey, everybody's down. Let's do an Encino Man 2."
Yeah.
So now it just depends on if they can get the backing and the money behind it.
It's
Well,
weird.
it's like
Brendan Fraser's one of those guys that disappeared. Like he was around for a while, and obviously leading man looks and not a bad actor and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, he just sort of dropped off the radar.
Well, yeah, that's it.
There it is.
They were doing one of the bedroom scenes probably when they were cleaning them up and getting them looking all cool.
Well, it's like the one of the better things that come out of 2020, the Bill and Ted 3, which was actually a great movie. I haven't, I watched it when it first came out. I watched it 2 or 3 times. It's just, and I'd watch it again. It's a great, you can even, it's one of those repeat viewings that it's a real funny, good movie. Refreshing, that kind of movie. I enjoyed it.
It was okay. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Better than I thought it would be too. Yeah, I mean, it was at least as good as Bill and Ted 2.
I watched it twice, and when I watched it the second time, I wasn't like, because sometimes you watch something for the first time and it's nostalgia, and it's like,
right,
yeah, the carry. Oh, I remember. And then when you watch it again, you're like, it's not really that good. That didn't happen with Bill and Ted.
Right. That's what I guess that's what I'm
getting at.
Like,
yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Like those recent Star Wars movies.
All of them.
Well, some of them were good.
All the recent ones.
Rogue One.
Rogue One was okay.
What was part 3? Yeah. What was part 3?
I still have not watched part 3. I still have not seen part 9, actually.
Part 3.
Well, 4, 5, 6. Then they did 1, 2, 3.
What was it? Skywalker.
Revenge of the Sith.
No,
is that that word? Wait,
Revenge of the Sith was
is
back
that a name?
in 05, I think.
Yeah, that would have been what he's talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the new the Disney ones.
It's 4, 5, 6.
Force Awakens.
No, 1, 2, 3. It goes 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Talking about the
7,
third
8,
one
9.
in the Hayden Christensen series.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that.
Who was Hayden Christensen? May be the guy who might have ruined the franchise.
No,
oh my God, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was so
just
unlikable.
awful.
It wasn't his
Horrible.
fault. I'm not going to say it's his fault. I mean, it's direction.
Well, whoever chose him for the role.
There you go.
He was so unlikable. That, I mean, you put that and then you add
it's the same
Jar
thing
Jar
with
Binks and
the young Anakin too. It's like, oh, that kid's so annoying.
that was their attempt to try and make it cute. Like, again, let's face it. The second one was all about let's try and get generational families involved in it.
Out of the 3 of those, yeah, the third was the best.
Well, what I was going to say that scene at the end of the third one, when there's like the fight in the lava, and at one point they're each on like a floating block that's in the lava, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember seeing that in the theater, and the CGI on it was so terrible too. I'm like, well, these guys have a blank check. Like, how does it look like that? How did somebody not watch that during? And I'm like, guys, we gotta redo this.
It's George Lucas. It was all George Lucas. We love you, George.
Oh God, it was so.
Yeah, those ones are terrible. I mean, I'll watch them still, but
I haven't watched them since they came out.
And Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael.
Wait till Caleb gets in here. We'll talk about that.
Oh no!
There it is, right there. I got the
Caleb will have some stuff to say about that.
The complete saga,
which is a great Blu-ray set. It's got everything.
The
behind the scenes. I mean, it's got at least 2 full, I think 3 full discs of behind the scenes, with all kinds of every documentary you could imagine from Star Wars, which is great. Johnny remembers the old.
Does it have the Star Wars Christmas special?
It does not have the Christmas, because George Lucas has never let that come to see the light of day except on YouTube.
Hey, the coolest thing about that trilogy, the first, 1, 2, and 3, was the original poster that they had when it was Anakin, and then the sun, shadow.
That's it right there
on the thing.
Right
no,
there.
not that one.
No, it's the one where he's against the wall.
Yeah.
He's walking on the wall.
It's Vader's shadow.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's in here.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, super cool."
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie.
Different next level nerd shit.
Yeah.
The launch poster or the what teaser, whatever the hell it was.
Man, when Phantom Menace, when that first trailer came out, online you had to watch it. It was on AOL, and it was like the screen was this big.
Oh God.
You could barely see it. So you actually had to go to the theater to see it. Yeah.
I remember MTV played it. I remember MTV played it, and it was probably a day or two after it was out in the theaters.
Remember,
I somewhere I have the VHS of recorded that.
They made the Phantom Penis.
Or Super Troopers, remember that one? Or the it was something Troopers, the Stormtrooper spoof that they had.
It was the cops. It was the cops.
Yeah, cops.
It was a cops spoof called Troops.
Yeah.
Pull it up on the. Never mind.
Well, that's all bonus content on this Blu-ray set too.
It's all boner content on this computer.
No, it's all, actually the cops. All the internet spoofs are on here. The Robot Chicken, everything's in here, which is great. Family Guy, it's all in here. Family Guy.
Oh yeah, I remember
Robot Chicken spoofs were great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is an aluminum falcon?
He's going to Starbucks. Anybody want anything?
Somebody asked me in the chat.
Oh, he's crying. He's crying.
Before if I'm playing the JP-15-7, it went back today.
Oh,
Big.
But I didn't return it. I didn't return it. I had to go through the chain of command and talk to one of the guitar techs over at Sweetwater today. I explained the issue. And I mean, they're awesome over there. They really are. So I explained the issue. And he said, well, it sounds like, the nut needs to be widened. I said, well, I thought the same thing. I explained that I put the boob lube on it. Didn't help it. And then I mentioned I saw online a few people or a few things I saw.
With lube?
Had the same issue.
Did a lot of research on lube.
Yeah. This one lasts.
That's an internet search history. You don't want to continue with several different paths.
This one doesn't put your penis to sleep.
That's a slippery search.
Oh.
So, I told him that a couple people had mentioned the same issue, and it was a problem with either the saddle or the bridge or the trem itself. So he's like, all right, well, he's like, you can bring it to a tech by you and we'll reimburse you, or, you can send it back to us and we'll take care of it. And I said, well, I'd rather not bring it to somebody because if something happens, it's on me, So I was like, I'd feel more comfortable sending it back to you. And within 30 seconds, I had the return label emailed and brought it up to FedEx. So it'll be there Wednesday. So we'll find out.
It's funny. You were the reason why Dane Zimmerman doesn't ship guitars. We were talking about this literally today. Because Dane is thinking about doing some stuff with his business after the first of the year. And I was like, well, man, if you just take calls on Saturday nights when people want to buy guitars, you could probably sell a few more guitars a month. And he goes, I don't want to take calls and sell guitars because then I have to ship them. He goes, and Jay ships everything back. I was like,
well, I wouldn't buy anything from him anyway. No, I'm joking.
Oh, I'm an asshole.
I'm joking. No, I guess I understand that, but
no, he doesn't deal with it because Reverb, I guess Reverb is now known for, even if you sell something as is, no returns, blah, 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 people can still return it and you're sort of screwed. You can't really sell anything as is on Reverb because they've got that buyer protection thing. So he's just like, it doesn't matter what the reason is, they're going to let you ship it back to him anyway, and he ends up losing money on it. So I get it.
I guess you got to do one of those things like you got to be in the position where you're selling so many,
right?
That if 5%, 10% send it back, then screw it. Hey, I didn't send it back because I don't like it. I sent it back because there's an actual legit problem. And I didn't call up and say, hey, it's got a problem, take it back, I don't want it. No, I'm
Are they going to send you another one?
No, they're going to fix the issue.
Fix the nut.
I don't want another one. That guitar felt so good, sounded so good, And I mean, it just looked. You saw the pictures.
What was it? The Petrucci 7?
Yeah, the JP
Music Man.
7. Yep. And when I bought this one, they had 2 of them. And Sweetwater is one of the music stores where, when a guitar comes in, every single guitar that comes in that place, they do a whole photo shoot with it. So when you go on to that website, to Sweetwater, when you're looking for a guitar, you actually are looking at the guitars they have in stock, and it has the serial number. And says, like, if you click on a guitar, for instance, right, it brings up whatever photo of one of them. And if they have like 3, let's just say, in stock, on the top left, it'll have like the guitar stats, like what it weighs. And then it says compare all 3 in stock or something like that. And you click the button, and it puts all the pictures side by side of each guitar that's in stock, the front, the angle, the whole guitar. Like, you can, I think, choose 4 or 5 different options.
Johnny, can we see
You can
that?
actually see the guitar that you're going to buy. So when it shows up, the stock photo of anything, the company's going to take the best photo they can. And then when it shows up and the finish isn't as pretty, or the flame or the whatever isn't the same, you're like, man. So it's super cool that they do that.
So
Sweetwater is like the Nordstrom of music, man. They don't screw anything up. I don't know anybody. I don't have anybody know anybody that's ever had a bad experience with Sweetwater. Like, if something goes wrong with them, they go way out of their way to make it right.
Yes.
It's insane the amount of customer service that comes from those guys.
Yeah.
I just got my new catalog today, the one for the December or winter or whatever it is.
Speaking of music store catalogs, I got my my Guitar Center Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale thing today, and it says right on it, right? What's the date? It's December 5th. Well, now it's December 5th, right? It says sale November 26th through December 2nd. I got it after the shit ended.
And why are they in bankruptcy again?
That's what I said to Jeannie. I said the same thing, and you wonder why.
I wonder if, and I don't think they will, but because they're just reorganizing. It's not like the kind of bankruptcy that like Best Buy and those other companies are going through. But I wonder if, while they're going through the bankruptcy, their shelves end up like some of the Sam Ash stores that are just bare, and they have just bare bones, their allocation. Like, when any car dealership, you have to sell a certain amount of cars to get allocated the best models, the new best model that comes out. You got to wonder if Guitar Center will be left behind, and people like Sweetwater and Chicago Music and all those other guys will get it before Guitar Center.
Well, I was watching one of the YouTube channels, and they said,
hold on. I got to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Go for
it. But you see that quilt?
Is that your guitar?
That was the other one I had to choose from. So look, that's the one I got. Look at that quilt compared to the one that's on the website.
Much lighter on yours, yeah.
Well, and I mean, I know you can't really see it here, but well, I mean, the camera, I think I don't know if I lightened it up or whatever, but yeah, that flame is.
So you photoshopped it to make you look sexier.
Yeah, can't you?
It's much more pronounced. The flame is much more pronounced on.
And even the back of the neck on,
the
one I got, the fretboard. I know you really can't tell.
Wait,
I think I have a newer photo.
How do you
Yeah, I
do
do.
this? This is weird. You highlight this side and it shows that side.
Now look at the flame on mine, and this is the actual Sweetwater picture that they sent. Like, this is the one from the website. See?
So when you buy it, do they send you the picture and say this is the one you bought?
Yeah, they send you all the pictures. Then they have a high res zip file that you can download all the photos.
Oh, cool.
So look at the neck on mine. Look at that. That's ridiculous.
The flame.
Yeah, when I bought a Marshall pedal, a pedal for my DSL 100, because the switching on those things is a pain in the ass. So they made this one. It's like a 6-channel pedal. That's been. It took them like 18 months back ordered, and I got a phone call like every 3 weeks giving me an update. Like, they were just. I was like, "Hey, it's Mark from Sweetwater. Just want to let you know we're gonna get a bunch of those pedals in, and yours is 3rd on the list. All right, if you need anything, give me a call." And like every 3 weeks, I would get it for about 4 months. They were like 18 months back ordered, and they got it to me in 5 months.
Oh yeah,
which is a long time to wait for a simple pedal, but it's a pedal that makes that DSL 100 much easier to switch. Because the original pedals they give you can't do two switches at once. You can't be in two different channels at once, whereas this one you can.
Oh,
It's a Darth Vader like breathing.
Wow.
He's got a condenser mic on his.
Yes. I'm scaled down tonight.
Relax, kid.
yeah, bring him back.
Sit
huh?
back. Ease the
Wait a
seat
minute.
back.
How many
Ease the seat
cabinets do you
back.
have now?
Oh God.
The thing is, the way the position that you're sitting, Caleb, and the amount of breathing that you're doing is a little disconcerting.
Oh really?
And
Can you
is
really
the
hear me?
laptop on your lap? And,
It
yeah,
is.
because
It's literally a laptop.
Yeah, the
And
background
it's
is
bouncing in a way that
staying,
is.
staying still.
Not good for
He's-
your testicles, man.
He's got a bunch of these.
Yeah, that's all it is. Don't be fooled, folks.
It's not good for your testicles to have your computer on your ball sack.
Really?
I don't know.
Caleb enjoys it.
I'm always afraid. Of
Warm.
that. I'm always afraid of that. You know, like man, the
It's
internet's
just
running
electricity.
the internet's running right through my sack.
It's just
I need-
electricity.
Well,
I
you're going to
need-
have more kids, Jay? Because if you're not going to have more kids, it's not a problem.
No, that's why I put all my computers on my nuts.
It's cheaper than a vasectomy.
That's right. There
Yeah.
you go.
I got to get one, man. Has anybody
Regular regimen.
Does anybody know a doctor?
Has anybody had one?
Doctor?
Caleb?
No, can't say I have.
Caleb? No, Caleb hasn't. No one's snipping anywhere near my testy satchel.
Oh, I'm getting snipped, man. I'm getting snipped.
That was one of the running discussions with my ex-wife and I, but she was 8 years older. I'm like, look, we just run out the clock. We're good.
Run out the clock.
That didn't go over well.
He ran out the clock. All right.
I ran out the clock.
How's everybody?
Good.
How you
man.
doing, Caleb?
I'm good.
like
What did I
you're-
miss?
You're chill.
I'm chill tonight. Yes.
Somebody requested that we
Nice.
discuss something about what happened at Sunset Studios. Did I get that right?
Oh,
I haven't seen the latest on Sunset, but there's been some interesting posts that I've seen.
Oh,
I
I
said
don't know
wait
what
for
the
Caleb.
latest is, though.
Yeah, wait for Caleb.
oh my God. Yeah.
Here we go.
I gotta go get
Let's
another
talk
Pepsi
about
for
it.
this.
I'm new to it. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I don't want to make any waves.
Yeah, you do.
This time,
Wow.
I've enjoyed a lot of the recent posts from that the Sunset Sound people.
Yeah, I've enjoyed every single one, and that's why the certain one earlier this week was a shock. A shock.
Mhm. I saw your comment.
Yeah. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, I didn't see any comment.
Well, I didn't see it myself. I don't know what we're talking about. So,
Well,
enlighten
I
us.
made one comment and then I deleted it, but they responded to me. My comment was because the Sunset Sound guys said, anybody thinks they can do any better, come on down. So I wrote right under it, what's the address? And they go, and
I'll
then
be
they-
there Monday. With my
and they answered pretty quickly. Actually, they wrote, "You know where we are," or like you don't know where we are, or something.
Oh.
But then I had to go back, and so I deleted that, and then I went back and said, and I took it off the Nerd Halen one, and I went to the Caleb Rappaport one, and I said, smoking causes cancer. So if anyone wants to know what we're talking about, they posted a video of basically an amplifier ad with a certain tribute band guitar player testing out that rig and playing the Van Halen 1 record beginning to end, as far as just pieces of riffs from each song from Van Halen 1. And
Why?
It was just weird. It was weird to use the legend of Eddie Van Halen the Sunset Sound in that way, and to hawk an amp like from a has anyone ever heard of Lang amplifiers?
Yes,
Okay.
I have.
All right. Well, I haven't. And
I haven't heard.
you know, it just sounded like just a dirty, muddy amp. And but was you know, half the riffs, half the playing just wasn't right. And you know, I mean, you know, I'll give it to anybody that plays it right. But if you're gonna butcher some of those riffs, standing in the location,
Paul,
standing in the location where those riffs were recorded,
dude,
you know,
when are you gonna go?
They're not gonna have me down there, but I
They're
would
not
go.
going in.
Not after
way.
that.
Not after that. It's fine. But it was brutal.
I didn't see that, but well, I can imagine.
Go watch, John. Go watch. And
I will.
come back.
I'm looking forward to this because
literally log off and just go watch and come back. Take 10 minutes of your time.
Go away for a little bit.
No, I want to see your reaction.
This is the tribute band version of Motley Crue versus Quiet Riot.
That's funny.
Because it's I mean, this isn't the first time that certain paths have crossed and a difference of opinion has been voiced.
Where do I go for it?
The Sunset Sound.
Did.
Sunset
So
Sound.
much for Pop being a calming
YouTube.
influence.
Jay and I will take a few minutes off and check that out.
Ben, Tom, there's no lessons to give, dude. If he doesn't have it by now, he's not going to get it. So
I saw it.
You offered me lessons, and I'm fucking pathetic.
when are we starting?
Here it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm ready.
Jay.
I'm ready when you are. I'm easy to find. You know where I live.
I know sort of. I don't.
You guys have jammed,
Yeah.
right?
We
I
have
saw you guys
jammed.
jamming. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not here to create a bunch of, you know, obviously, you know,
No,
people,
it could have been better. It could have been special. I mean, for what it was, I saw it, and just as far as the riffs, most of them weren't even played right. Like you heard wrong notes, and it just
wrong riffs.
It just and to do that, to make it what it should have been, it should have been right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Was it known that video was going to be broadcast on the internet at the time?
Known by who?
What the fuck?
By the participants. No,
you really got me.
Here's the thing. The question I'm going to ask.
You really got me.
That's what I was.
Yeah. How do you fuck up? You really got me.
Right.
The question I'm asking is, were they
Look at Jay. Wait. Isolate.
Yes,
Jay.
it was
Isolate.
filmed.
Jay.
It was totally filmed for what it was.
I'm not. I paused it, but
Keep going. Play.
even running with the devil, he's playing the main riff wrong.
But my question is it being played deliberately wrong, like close enough, but deliberately wrong to avoid a copyright claim?
No way.
There are certain people like I'll mention our friend Philip McKnight. When he would do reviews of EVH style guitars like the Stripe series or the Wolfgang, whatever it was, he would play the riffs similar to, but not exactly to, so as to avoid getting a copyright claim.
It does sound like he's riffing on it a little bit. It does.
Is there a potential? And I'm not
riffing
trying to
on it.
defend the guy because I'm you know me, Caleb. I'm going to get you back on this.
But where's the disclaimer? Like
I don't know.
I would disclaim that, right?
You would think.
I would think if you're in a tribute band for a band and you're trying to be like the tribute for that band, why would you go and play riffs and being dressed up as Eddie? Why would you go and play the riffs? I mean, I understand what you're saying, Paul, but I think that would make you look bad, like what we're saying here.
Oh no, I get it.
That would destroy the look of what you're trying to do.
And somebody, maybe the amp guys told him to do it kind of like it.
Well, then why even use those amps?
I understand that. I'm with you. I'm trying to find, is there a logical reason for somebody playing piss poor? Somebody that's supposed to be that good. Is there a defensible logical reason?
Well, even Sunset Sound told Caleb, they're like, you know where we are.
Jay.
All right. Well then, okay.
So
Jay, what's the
down
thumbs
there,
ratio now? What's the thumbs up to thumbs down ratio now?
It's
not on this show.
virtually 2-1, 254 up, 124.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen anybody ever seen a ratio like that. That's pathetic. How do you keep a video up with a ratio like that?
Well,
wait, what
I
were
haven't
the
seen
numbers?
it, so I'm just asking.
Let
Okay,
IRL videos are the opposite.
Paul, go watch.
All right. Is it on YouTube?
Yes. Is it on YouTube? Are you kidding?
No. Like, is it? Because I'm not on YouTube. I'm on StreamYard. Hang on. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
And
Yeah, just go to Sunset Sound YouTube.
And someone said, who said this? Santa Cruz said, other than Caleb, Pete, look, there are plenty of guys that play these riffs perfectly. So it's not just me and another guy. Come on, this is ridiculous. That's why, I mean, maybe he's doing
that
it.
ratio is definitely.
Maybe he's doing it to throw it off, but
sending a
But
statement.
I've seen videos of them play, and I hear that stuff. So
is this the Van Halen shreds and entire album in 10 minutes? That one?
Yes.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, thank you. I was trying to just let people do their own homework here.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
That's number 3 tonight.
I have no skin in the game. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Mike Himmel, dude. Randy Price. Mike Himmel's sick player, and Cameron Brown. These guys, Liquid Charlie. There's plenty of guys who can play these riffs perfectly. So it's not. I'm not trying to be
people
a dick here. Jude Gold. Yes, Jude, great player.
Hey, Jude.
Caleb Rappaport.
Tons.
Jay Hannon.
No, don't
Johnny
put me
Beane.
in that category.
Johnny Beane.
I'll go down there. They'll let me in.
Right, Randy. That's right.
You'll play it right.
Nerd Halen. They didn't invite you because I fake it. Remember? Right. Yes, I fake it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, jump. You could never play it like that.
Or the Beat It solo. I faked it. Yeah, totally.
Dude, Doug Steele.
Dude. I learned all my shit from Doug Steele. So yeah, there's a bunch of dudes.
So what did the comments say on that video then?
Well, all of them are from Caleb.
I want to hear the rebuttal from the Van Halen guy.
I'll read one. I'm not going to read the name it's from. Caleb Rappaport. You suck. Just a bunch of you sucks.
Look, here's the only. What's also disturbing about the video is when he is introduced, he's got his fake cigarette in the headstock, and then he grabs it and takes a fake drag off it. And the first thing I thought was like, first of all, that's stupid, but Eddie died from fucking lung cancer. So like, what are you thinking? Like, what are you doing? Why is that even cool to mimic the cigarette? Like,
well, because I mean, if you look at it that way, I agree with you, but at the same time,
it is kind of a trademark.
Yeah, I mean,
right. But if there's one thing you're gonna like lose from the act, maybe just because of recent events,
right? Wouldn't
it be that? It's kind of tone deaf, and I'm not surprised. Tone deaf. That
Wow, that was not good.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Let me read this comment. So somebody wrote, I couldn't do it better, but I also don't claim to be a Van Halen clone. Dude plays good, but skips a lot of the hard notes that made Van Halen stand out and be VH. Sorry, but fail in one way and win in another. Sound was awesome, and it is a tribute to the only man I ever wished I was besides myself.
Wow, that's an interesting comment.
Yeah.
I love this. I love here's a positive. OMG, I was cheering. Way to go. I love how you added your own little flair. Yeah, that's what you should do, is try to improve Eddie Van Halen. That's what you're there for, is to improve what Eddie Van Halen did.
You don't add your own thing when you're dressed up looking like somebody else.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah,
But that was the one that's 2 or 3 above what Jay just read.
That amp tone is so dirty and muddy and yucky, like in my opinion. Like
But Caleb, you can hide sloppiness with distortion.
absolutely. So I understand why, but it's not like they're duplicating the sound. And that's why it was just weird for Sunset Sound. And all due respect to the Sunset Sound. I mean, you guys are legendary. Like, how could you do this?
Steve Carmichael posts something here, and I'm just gonna. The guy explained on their Facebook page how the whole thing came about. He was supposed to just play Eruption. When he got there, they wanted him to play the other riffs with no rehearsal. Dude, you're in a Van Halen tribute band. If you don't know every note, every note on the first Van Halen record, you shouldn't be in a Van Halen tribute band.
And I don't buy that excuse. Sorry.
There is no excuse. There's no excuse for that.
To be there ready to play anything.
Wait, he just was supposed to show up and play Eruption dressed as Eddie?
Right. And if you listen to I'm the One, you know I'm the One's in their set. So
let me go to that.
Yeah, you should send this.
Jay, don't listen to that. Don't listen to that one.
Isolate.
Don't do it.
Isolate.
I'm gonna mute.
But I was like,
oh no.
I'm
gonna mute it. Hold on.
I
gotta find it first.
Even the
it's after ain't talking about love.
Yeah. even the fills in Really Got Me were wrong.
Yep.
Look at the reaction. That's great.
Thumbnail.
Damn. I don't know how to play that riff or that song, but I could play it better than that just was.
Yeah,
But I will say that I'm the One, the groove on that intro riff.
very hard.
It's a very. I haven't seen many people get that.
It's the ultimate swingy thing he does.
Swing, man. It's and the way he attacks certain notes and stuff like that. It's very.
You have to get that upstroke in the right spot, or you're dead. And that riff's just legendary.
Yeah,
that song is legendary. I mean, that song is still, one of my favorite all-time songs of theirs.
It just kicks.
And if anyone says what's your favorite song on Van Halen 1, it's I'm the One. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I just don't buy that he went down there and they said you have to play the whole record, and then he did. Like I would have said, no, I don't. This is my reputation. Excuse me, this is my reputation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get on here on YouTube and play shit I don't know.
In Eddie's spot in Sunset Sound.
Right.
I mean, are you kidding me? Dressed as Eddie with your fake cigarette.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing we didn't name him.
We?
Yeah, what's this we shit?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Look, if the fucking guitar player from Name and Address Withheld has a problem with me, I'll give him my address.
We've been trying to get your address for Treat Stream for months. And hey, real quick, Ann Halen.
Shit.
Ann Halen, good to see you.
Nice.
Ann Halen is a Van Halen tribute from the Bay Area, and we actually met in the parking lot at the Van Halen show. Was that Mountain View, California, in 2015? Ann and I actually met and recognized each other. We recognized each other because of the internet. Ann Halen, great to see you here. Great to see you. And also, they didn't like the video either.
Also, Pascal, good to see you again. Pascal's out there
from France
on YouTube. Yeah, hey Pascal,
good to see you, man.
Hey, let's see if we can have the thumbs downs surpass the thumbs ups. Go ahead over there. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
On this show?
No, not on this show.
Somebody was already leaving thumbs downs before we even started because they heard Paul was going to be here.
Oh,
cool.
That guy Kelly.
It's Paul.
Do you know that guy Kelly?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
A girl Kelly? Is it a guy?
Somebody named Kelly.
Kelly
If
Brock.
you scroll all the way to the
Charles'
very
next
first
girlfriend?
comments on the video,
Kelly Lee.
Okay.
somebody was saying something.
All right.
Yeah, Anne, great to see you. Actually, Anne, if you want to come on as a guest sometime, talk about your band, you're welcome.
And
Is it all female?
No.
Oh.
Speaking of guests, this Friday, we're
yeah.
gonna have
Wolfgang? Just kidding.
No,
hopefully
Paul made that comment. He's not coming on now.
Nah, just get fucking like you're
Nah.
gonna get him anyway.
no. You never know. We're gonna have Jim DeCola from he was from Peavey at the time. He
Now
designed
he's
the
with
Wolfgang.
Gibson, right?
He designed the Peavey Wolfgang. Now he's with Gibson. Yeah, he's going to be here Friday.
Wow.
Cool.
You gonna tell him the HP2s suck?
Oh shit.
Hey, you said it, not me. I never played one.
Yeah, Anne. Yes, yeah. Let's get in touch about that.
What a
That'd be
great
awesome.
Firehouse song. Get in touch. Oh. The intro alone.
Can't say I'm familiar with that.
Man, oh man, awesome. Brian Spalding says the toughest thing about playing Van Halen songs is getting Eddie's feel and phrasing. Oh hell yeah.
That's the toughest thing about playing anybody's stuff.
And that's what makes Eddie all the way up there, because there are so many little intricate things that he does that it's hard to get that. And those type of things really stick out to people's ears. That's why it's Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
You have to get into Edward's mind. You have to get into the mind of any guitarist if you're trying to learn their stuff. It's like where would you go next? I mean, I'm not a great guitarist, but that's kind of the way I think of it when I'm trying to play someone, trying to learn something, and I'm having trouble with it. Where would you go next? I guess it's theory, but it's my 2 cents.
Depends on the musician.
1 cent. Yeah, I think a lot of them. It's like you get I think Andy Summers, Johnny. I mean, that's like he's got his very distinct style, and you kind of get if you're a huge fan. I mean, I know you are. You get a feel of where they would go.
There's actually two different Andy Summers styles out there. There's the Police style, which everybody knows from the Police, and then his solo style is totally different. It's jazz. He's a total jazz player. But I'm so grateful I got into him when I did, because it totally changed my life just as far as music.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, on a positive, I mean, I'm not, negative Nancy over here. Has anyone talked about Pete Thorne's deep dive yet?
I don't know what.
Okay, well, Pete Thorne tried to replicate the Van Halen 1 rig and guitar sound with Dave Friedman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they put a video out last week. Has anyone seen that video? Do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. It was incredible. It was absolutely, like, you talk about nerd shit. It was the most nerdy, right down to like the magnet in the pickup and the string gauge and the what the strings were made of, everything. And it's fascinating. I didn't want it to end. I was
a lot of
didn't
people
want
in
it
the
to
chat
end.
saying they saw it.
It was incredible. So check that out, because you want to see somebody. You want to see someone get there. Pete gets as close as anybody in that video. So
How come he didn't do that Sunset Sound video?
because they were, because he's with Sur and he's not going to go, pawn a Lang amp.
Van Halen's on the cheap.
Jesus.
Yeah, James Gum. Yeah, I love Andy Summers' solo records too, man. I love them. Yeah, I got them right here, man.
And that's the thing with, like, your own signature sound. Like nowadays, it's so hard for anybody coming up to have a signature sound, and the only way to do that is to have something sound almost wrong. Like think of like Dimebag Darrell, right? You take that distortion that he had, especially on Cowboys from Hell. I'd be like, if I was the engineer or the producer for that record, like you ain't using that fucking thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason it worked and it sounds great for them. But you take that distortion and put it on some other band or some other record, you'd be like, what are they doing?
Well, it's like Randy Rhoads. Think about the early Ozzy.
Yeah, because they didn't know how to record heavy guitars back then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
And as far as having
the opposite of Dimebag,
as far as having a signature sound, you got to go you got to go both ways. Well, I don't mean it like that. No, you got to either listen to everything
or nothing,
or listen to nothing. Either or. That's how you do it. If that makes sense.
M&Ms, but goddamn, they're good right now.
Oh, I want some of those.
Look, a whole handful, no brown ones. The Van Handful.
Oh wow, look at that. Crazy.
Do you eat all the brown ones last?
I don't know.
They all taste the same.
You send the brown ones
no
back.
difference.
Jay sends the brown ones back.
He looked at them like they were living in a cage, and they were looking at him, going like, "No,
eat us, please."
Like somebody was feeding a mouse to a snake.
Mm-hmm.
If I go out and I buy a pack of M&Ms, if I come home, if there's a brown one in there, I trash my room.
What are you doing?"
They didn't read the
rider.
There's a brown one in the pack.
Never drive and eat M&Ms, because if you find a brown one, you'll crash your car.
Now,
I mean, do you think if they left one brown M&M, do you think it would be like, did they let it slide? You know, out of, 1,000 M&Ms. No,
Does
no,
10
just
count?
one. I mean, they made an effort. They made an effort if they left one.
No.
Do you have to take the tan ones out too, or just the dark brown ones?
Back then, they had the tan too. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they did.
Back when red was the red dye number, whatever it was. It was the
yeah. They had the tan ones too. So you had tan and brown.
Yellow dye number 5.
I'm guessing all. That was back when the green ones made you horny. Remember that? That was
no, it was a home run.
No, because in the commercials, the green one was a chick.
What?
No, I remember the
Is
green
that why?
one. The green one made you horny. That was definitely the case.
Yep, that was apparently the
Definitely.
green M&Ms.
That was the
Something in the green dye. It was like Spanish fly, man.
Yeah.
I think Caleb and I are the only ones that remember what Spanish fly was supposed to be.
I remember seeing those in those magazines that we used to read.
Yeah,
magazines underneath my cousin's bed.
It was like the
ones you would always find behind a bush out in the woods.
Yeah, real quick, look up the Pete Thorne Deep Dive EVH. Deep Dive is what they call it.
Yeah, nothing sexy about that. I don't know.
How come everybody is talking about great Van Halen style guitar players and nobody's mentioned Stevie Brown yet?
Oh yeah,
Stevie
great.
Brown nails it. Like if I were an amp company looking for a semi-successful guitar player to plug my, that I could probably get on my budget to plug my new amp, who's a big Van Halen fan who gets it right, and Caleb prices himself out of the gig,
Little Stevie Brown.
then I guess Stevie Brown would be the guy you call.
Hey, who on the panel here
Why don't you give Stevie a call?
knows
Stevie.
knows who the quote from Renus Pinkel knows who said that?
Let's see here.
We'll flip to the last sentence.
Oh, whoops. That one?
Sound isn't working. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Jay.
The first excuse a guitarist says when he hasn't done his homework, the sound isn't working for me, man.
Thank you, Bob.
There you go, Randy Price, my man. When Kirk Hammett is literally mailing in the solo for Unforgiven.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the Rock God solo of the year.
And Bob Rock is just giving him shit. just whooping his ass over it. Oh, so let's just lay down anything then. James put in all this work, and this is what you got.
Classic, man. That was one of the best scenes of that whole documentary.
I had an opportunity to sit in a studio with Bob Rock as he premiered an album from a certain band. And we were in the room, the band room, and Bob was in the control room. He wouldn't let anybody in the control room while he was like setting up the mix at that point. Like, that guy is a taskmaster. Like, he doesn't want to be bothered. He doesn't want to be disturbed. That guy digs his shit. He gets into his zone. And then you're in a recording studio, the A&M Studios, which is, I guess, now Henson. And just these amazing monitors, and he has everything tweaked exactly the way he wants to it. And he hits play, and it's the best an album will ever sound. Like, there's no way, once you get it like pressed and compressed and into a CD or whatever like that, there's nothing like listening to the master tapes of a record being played back into a control room.
Oh,
it's fucking insane.
Second to none.
It was so insane.
Those things are tuned. Those rooms are tuned for that.
Oh my God. It was just, I mean, and hair blowing. It was so fucking loud.
Yeah, Randy, cut to the chase and fucking play. All right, man. So it went from being literally one of the worst solos to one of the best Kirk Hammett solos of all time.
I can't listen to that song without remembering that whole the whole Bob Rock versus Kirk discussion there.
But that's what some bands need after a while, man. When you're young and you in the studio for the first couple times, like, and obviously when you're writing that first record, you have like your whole life to write.
Playing PS5 over there.
Yeah,
no, what I'm saying is that, like, the fire that you have when you're young and when all this stuff seems new and fun is way different than when you get older and it turns to, like, from we got to make an album, we got to write music, to, hey guys, we got to write an album. Like, we have to get get something out. It's a very different dynamic, and that's why Bob Rock is one of the best producers of all time, because he doesn't let bands get away with shit. He's not a yes man. If you're not playing something right, he's going to tell you. If something's not good enough,
think of Metallica at that time. I mean, 1990, 89, 90. I mean, they were coming off the road of the whole Masters thing, not only Monsters of Rock and everything. And, they needed a reality check. And the production of that, I mean, it immortalized on Year and a Half in the Life, which was just, one of the best rockumentaries ever.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
And
Bob Ezrin does that for Deep Purple now. Like, imagine trying to tell Deep Purple how they should record an album. And Bob Ezrin has been the guy that's done the last 3 or 4 Deep Purple records. And they've come out and said if it weren't for him, we couldn't make records, because he gets what we do. He knows our limitations, and he brings out the best in us.
Sure.
I mean, Metallica at that time was on the precipice of being legendary.
Yes.
Bob brought them there. I mean, that album brought them there. Yeah.
Deep Purple is just treading water at this point. They're making great records, but their best music, they're on the end of their career, and admittedly so. I'm not slamming Deep Purple. They've made great records the past couple of albums, but they've already done their thing. So for any producer to come in, you got to be an alpha producer to come in and tell Steve Morse that his guitar part isn't good enough. You know what I mean? So Bob Rock, and he had already done that. Think about who Bob Rock had worked with by the time that Metallica record comes out. He'd already dealt with the Cult. He'd already dealt with Motley Crue. He'd already dealt with Motley Crue, really real fuck-ups that he had to basically snap in line. So Kirk was, I'm sure, a walk in the park with him.
Oh, probably.
What was the one he was talking about? The anarchist band that he worked with. Dimwit was the bass player. Bob Kant was the drummer, or something like that. I don't know.
But even the little argument he has with Lars over the drums for the Unforgiven.
Sure.
He's like, it's Lars wanted
He's calling them out. He's calling them out as like
right up
children.
front, loudest thing in the mix, and Bob Rock's like, oh, so let's just I forget what the hell that part's great too, but he's telling him, he's like, you got all the strings happy, and you got the clean guitars, and all of a sudden, the drums are just, it's too loud. Yeah. It's too loud.
Well, he did a little ain't enough.
Yeah, and you can totally tell by the snare drum. That's
Yeah.
how you know that he did that record.
Yeah, certain guys just have a sound. I mean, that's part of the reason why Metallica wanted Bob Rock for that record, was because of Dr. Feelgood.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, Dr. Feelgood and Sonic Tempo were two of the biggest sounding records of their day. And Metallica wanted that sound. And that's why the drums have never sounded better on a Metallica record than they did on the Black Album.
Yeah.
Oh, they worked
Huge.
on every instrument. Every instrument they worked on, in depth. Even
Well,
the
and
bass,
that's why it sold
even the
30 million
bass,
copies.
Even Jason's bass, they actually, you can hear it.
Yeah. 11 months in the studio. Would they say 3 out of the 4 of them were divorced?
That's right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people think that, a lot of these huge rock stars live these great lives, and it's not always the case. Yeah, obviously the fame and fortune part of it, if you're into that. But think of not being home, 9, 10, however many months a year, not seeing your family.
It changed their life. It changed every single member of the band's life, to say the least.
No, but I'm saying you can't. It's very hard to live like a normal, grounded life on the road and away from home. And we all know that when you're like a creative person and you're writing music and producing or whatever all this stuff does, it takes a part of your attention away from normal things. Your family, for instance.
Well, you've heard the phrase, you can't serve two masters. That's and you've heard women ruin bands. And it's not the women, it's just that there is a
it's the guy letting the women.
Yeah.
The dynamic.
But there's you can't, in order to be devoted to your instrument and your craft to a point, there's not enough time in the day to give 100% to everything. And so something has a tendency to slip by the wayside, and that's why there are so many failed Hollywood and music industry marriages. Yeah. And it trips down to everything. Guys that run bars, have horrible relationships too, because they're out every night until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Their entire day doesn't start until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when most people are getting home and having their family life. It's a fucked up world. And musicians, musicians, you've been on a bus, Jay, and I'm sure Caleb, if he can still hear us, he's been on a bus. That's not a fun life. It's cramped.
Yeah,
it's finite.
It's great.
At first, I was only on the bus for Ozfest, so it was like
in your 20s. It's great.
Month and a half, 6, 7 weeks. But and plus we had to share a bus with Trivium, so it wasn't just like the 5 of us plus a tour manager and a couple techs. It was the 4 guys in Trivium, plus one of their girlfriends had to come.
And her girlfriend.
Their little weasel merch guy, who I
Paulie Shore?
No,
the Weasel. Went on tour with the Weasel.
And then obviously the bus driver. We had a guitar tech that we shared between the 2 bands. A drum tech.
You guys were all in the same bus. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way,
was it like a 12-seater or a 12-bed or something like that?
It had to
bed?
be. It had to be. I know that only one person didn't have a bunk, and that was their merch guy.
So now, did you guys have hotel rooms every night, pretty much, or
no? It's just the bus.
It was
There's
all
no
the
hotel
bus.
room for the pips.
For the lower bands on the schedule, I guess. Yeah.
No hotel room for the pips.
And then they had each venue for from Ozfest, they had showers and stuff set up, and they had it wasn't like for all the fans. They had like an area set up backstage, behind everything. They had like showers and porta johns and stuff like that too. So we were able to shower and stuff, but yeah,
it's battle conditions.
Like, just quickly in the chat, Blackie Ted, please tell Dan from Jet Black I said hello if you still speak with him. Dan is the guitar player for Jet Black, guy named Dan Festuca, a phenomenal guitar player, jacked to the bejesus, as big as Kane Roberts, and he's now a guy who owns a lion. He has a full 800-pound lion in his backyard.
Wow.
That he does charity work with.
Okay.
But Dan was a guitar player for Jet Black. You've seen him in probably some Jackson ads. He's a big, huge muscle-bound dude with a huge mohawk. And he used to be a Jackson and Dorsey. He was a Jackson and Dorsey, yeah.
I think we saw that, yeah.
Yeah. And his lion is insane. It's fucking awesome.
Man. But yeah, as far as the touring and stuff, man, I miss that. I would love to be on a bus somewhere in the middle of nowhere, driving to a gig.
Right?
You know,
It does
it's the
sound like
best.
fun.
It's the best. I mean, it's
For a limited time.
it's torture. You know, to get in between gigs is torture, and when you get to the gig, you just have to wait. You're always hurrying up to wait. But when you're on stage, and even if there's nobody there, just you're playing.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's all about. And when one of the last tours that I did, me and the drummer, we didn't want it to end. The tour was done, and we're like, we want to keep going.
Oh,
you know?
dude!
Sure.
The 2 weeks after a tour ends is like the most depressing time of your life because your whole life slows down to a grinding halt, and your body's still moving. You know, like everything in you is still moving, but the reality that it's crazy.
Yeah, it took about 2 weeks every time we come back to kind of return to normal. And people would think that, oh man, the second you get home from a tour, I'm sure you guys you just want to like go see all your friends. And I'm like, no, I just want to sit home and do nothing. It's kind of how it was.
Yeah, because your life is scheduled. Isn't your life scheduled, hour by hour on a tour, pretty much? I mean, in some respects.
Well, yeah, I mean,
sound check, wake up, hotel call, all that.
I've only toured as a road manager, so.
So your job was harder than everybody else's.
But to have it completely slow down.
Drummer?
Yeah, to completely slow down to nothing is it's like a withdrawal situation because there, I do more in a day when I was doing that job than I do in a month. It was crazy. And the coolest part, I think Jay knows this, and Johnny too, is every time you'd hit a town, a sequence of events would roll off, and it would be the same sequence in every town pretty much, but just different people playing the role of that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this.
I never thought of it like that, but I totally get you.
This is the promoter, and this is the front of house guy that you're using, and everybody would just show up at the right time, and you just knew by what time they came up to you who they were. It was so funny.
I was on the opposite end of that. I was the tech that would roll up.
Right.
When you guys rolled up.
Right.
You were the groupie?
No, the tech. I mean, it's like here's your shore power. Here's your shore power. There's the stage. Here's the elevator.
And I guarantee you, everybody, just by the way you approach them and what time it was, every band and every crew guy knew exactly who you were. Not just by when you showed up, not like what you were even telling them to do. It was
Blackie Ted.
To Johnny's point, though,
bye, Blackie Ted.
To the point where I like, even when I watched Almost Famous, right, the movie Almost Famous, sitting there and just watching the band go from stage to back dressing room to bus to all of those things and stuff like that, tear comes to my eye. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I miss that. I miss the opportunity to go out and play. I miss getting together 5-6 nights a week with the 4 other guys and creating music. Like, you miss that. It's a moment in time that we all look back on, and some of us are still living. That can't be unless you've done it. You can't, if you've not done it, you can't explain it to people. It really is magical. That said, it's also exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, I've only done it from the technical side, but my best friend was in the band,
right?
And the guys that I was working for were at that time I would have died for them just because. It was us against the world. And that's the coolest feeling ever to be.
Did you ever find that itinerary of where you guys toured? I'd love to see that because there's a good chance you came through my area.
Yeah, there is. All that stuff, I don't know where it is. Yeah, I don't know where it is.
There's nothing worse and better than showing up to a club on a Thursday night in a shit town where there's a fucking blizzard coming and nobody's at the bar, but the show's still going on. They're going to still play because they're still going to serve beer. It's still open. And just sitting in the back parking lot, bumper skiing off the back of your van before the show because you got nothing else to do. There's nothing else that's going to happen. There's nobody there. There's no bands playing. You're going to play to an empty house, so you just treat it like a live rehearsal. and just
Yeah.
have fun
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
We did that in Vegas. We drove to Vegas. We drove to Vegas to this club. We get there and the promoter didn't even promote the show at all.
Oh,
Sure.
So it was just us, and we just treated it like a practice.
You find out you're
You know.
headlining because the headliner said, "I'm not playing in this shit."
Well, we
All of a
toured with the
sudden, you're
headliner.
headlining.
We toured with the headliner.
Oh, yeah, no.
It was a package tour. It was all three different.
A package.
No, six states is all we got to do. We drove around New England. We never really got on a national tour.
Well,
we look at some of the well, go ahead. Sorry.
one of the
No, good.
one of the strangest things for me, and this is now we're getting all into like the weird stuff about coming off the road and like decompressing, but I lived home until I was 33
Decomposing.
with my parents, right? But I will say that gave me the opportunity to like go out and do that type of thing. My parents were always supportive, but I was able to go do that, not having to like, pay for an apartment or a house or something like that, So I did that whole thing, moved out at 33. But one of the weirdest things was when you come home. I mean, Caleb said it. When you're on the road, it's you against the world. You're not like confined to anything. You're not, you don't have people that are like holding your hand, like, telling you what to do and all this stuff. You can do whatever you want. So when you come home and all of a sudden, I come home and I'm back to my bedroom, and
that's almost famous. The kid comes back after all that, and he's in his old little bedroom.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing to all of a sudden like have your mom, like wake you up or something, or like you're coming home super late. You don't want to wake your parents up because your dad's got to get up for work in 2 hours. And you
look at Ed and Alex, who lived in their parents' house until what, 1980, 1981.
You're back in the real world.
Yeah,
think about that coming home to Pasadena after the tours they were on.
And no one can. That's the thing. No one, when you get home, no one can understand what you've just been through. Nobody. Like there's such a rhythm to touring and just like God, just
it's a completely different style of life. I mean, not that I've been through it, but
bus call, like that alone, like everybody knows what it is. Because you don't want
being in the shit bunk.
You don't want to get oil spotted. You don't want to get oil spotted. That's like you live your entire day to avoid that possibility that you get left behind.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's only like one or two guys that they won't move the bus for. But it's there's an excitement to it because when it's time to roll, like everyone's there, and then we just do the check, and then we're gone, and you leave that chapter is behind you, and then it's all about the next day and where you're headed and what time we get there and where we're stopping overnight, because there's always you always drive after the gig so that you wake up in the next town.
Yep.
And there's always that 3 a.m. truck stop that you hit.
That's where everybody gets woke up and told to take a shit.
Exactly.
Everybody get up, shit. Because the next stop is not 300. Yeah, next stop's another 300 miles. I'm shit on the bus.
It's very exciting.
I think one of the other things too was it's not like when we came back from the road, we were all broke, man. So, we had to get go to work and do all that.
You ran out of your PDs.
Oh God, yeah, the small amount that they were for us. But
did you guys
your lunch stipend every day?
I was going to say, did you guys work your food into your rider?
Yeah, no.
The band I went out with made sure that at the end of their show that there were 4 pizzas delivered to the bus.
Oh yeah.
So that we had food in the refrigerator for wherever we needed to go. That was how they worked out their food budget. It was in the rider.
We had those mini cereals, the assorted pack.
Right.
Like we had like 3 of those or something. So that, and everyone tried to steal the Fruit Loops and the, all the good ones. And there would always be like special
mini
K
cereals
and
for
shit
dinner? Is
left.
that what you like after the show?
No, for
You had
breakfast
those
the
after
next
the
day.
show? Oh, breakfast. Okay.
No, that would be your breakfast.
I remember we got pizzas, a bag of M&Ms, 2 bags of chips, like a 6-pack of soda. We basically stocked the fridge after every gig. They stocked the fridge, and it was in the rider so that it didn't have to come out of you per diem.
Yeah. No, we had Jamesons on ours.
Nice.
And so we literally had like 26 bottles of Jamesons on the bus. We would give them out, like we'd give them away. It's funny.
But you're still paying for them. The band is still paying for that Jameson, though. That's the thing that a lot of people don't. On the riders,
it's the artist chargeback.
Right. It's
Not always. Not always.
No.
The clubs and theaters would have in their budget for riders.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a club in Boston. I don't know that they still do it. I don't even know if it's still around. Bill's Bar used to be in Boston. And even the local bands.
I'm sure there's a Bill's Bar.
No, it was on Lansdowne Street. It was part of that. Yeah, it was part of that whole area. I think it was one of the bars that got bought up to become
Mamakin.
Mamakin, yeah.
Yeah. We played there.
Yeah, but Bill's Bar, which was next to Mamakin, or down a couple doors, they used to even give local bands beer in the dressing rooms. So we get
sure.
2 cases of Rolling Rock. For a local band, so they made you felt, even when you were just starting out, it made you feel like you were somebody.
I'd stuff my bags with.
We did.
Stuff.
Oh no, we did when we were leaving it.
Yeah, you don't leave
fucking bags.
You don't leave that stuff behind.
No.
No
In fact, when
behind.
we would occasionally, the guys in our band would occasionally roadie for a guy named Joe Stump, who's now in Alcatraz, but he had a band called Trash Broadway, and they were signed to a small independent label. So we would roadie for them for free, obviously, just to get into the show. But we fight basically. We'd walk in the dressing room and they'd be like, "We're done with everything. Anything you see here you want, take with you." We're like, "All right."
That was the best part about being a local crew. You get to raid the dressing room after the show's over.
Well, I got the underwear.
No,
oh God, man, we got some great stuff after that.
That's my couch.
You got gear. You got gear. You got food.
Yeah,
literally, this guitar was left behind. This body was left behind by a band.
We had socks. We had socks and T-shirts. Socks
was
and
a Fender.
T-shirts on our rider.
There you go.
Socks was like huge.
Towels, socks, ice.
What was huge for me.
Mundane stuff.
Was the foot spray, not the athlete's foot spray. It was I forget what was it. It was like a green cap, but it was basically so your feet don't sweat.
Dr.
So me and the bass player would every day, man, we wake up, at least like baby wipe our feet, spray them shits because you get hot feet in that van.
It's a touring shower,
dude. The van. I was funny. My 7-year-old, we were driving today, and he said I farted, and I was like, "No, dude, don't say that. You just call Windows." And that's something we would do in the van with the band. Like, someone would say Windows. And then all the windows would come down. And then like, I think my son asked, well, what if someone doesn't call Windows? I go, they're getting hit. and like, cause we were on the road so long with, in a van that we knew whose farts were whose.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Whose farts are whose.
Oh, that's Jay.
You get to learn everybody's brand.
Yeah. My wife got sick when I mentioned that. So.
Did you ever get a bus, Caleb? Did you guys ever get a bus?
We moved to the bus.
Did you guys have to do the roulette to see who gets the actual bedroom in the back?
No, no one got the bedroom. Everyone had a bunk.
Right.
The bedroom was community.
Yeah.
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 Because of the fact that it would be people would get pissed.
Well, it was a rotating thing with the band.
We had nobody
on the crew got to use it.
And, it would have been probably the lead singer, but Emerson Hart, who's the lead singer in Tonic, was definitely just one of the guys. He had no prima donna issues whatsoever. So
a lot of time the drummer ended up in that bedroom because he was the one that was so exhausted. This all night.
Yeah,
was enough.
Yeah, no, everyone had their coffin, It's
I
scary.
got fucking
It's scary,
over
man.
the wheel. Over the wheel's the worst.
Well, I mean, you guys were lucky. I mean, you think about Metallica back. I mean, that's the legendary bus story. You know, back in the 80s. You know, they were lucky to have a coffee machine. They were lucky to have just a bunk to sleep in. And you know, the tour buses got better and better. But you know, there was. I'm sure if you went over to Sweden and you were a B-level band, you didn't get the pick of tour buses, and that's what happened with them. You know,
when we went,
there's a million stories of that. You know,
we went to Europe. We had a Sprinter van.
Oh wow.
The seats in this goddamn thing were like 90-degree angle seats.
Ugh.
So we flew into Heathrow, right? From New York City to Heathrow. The first gig was, I'm trying to think, it was either the first gig was in Italy and it was a 27-hour to the show, but a 24-hour drive or a 24-hour drive, or sorry, 24 hours till the show or a 21-hour drive. It was one or the other. Well, we only had one guy. He's our tour manager and driver. I can't drive over in Europe.
right?
I remember when he picked us up, we were like, there's only one person and he's going to drive 21 hours straight, literally, or 24, whatever it was.
So unhealthy. So, dude, that's so bad.
Yeah. And I remember we were 18 hours into the trip or something. We took a pit stop and we, got some snacks, which is very strange over there too. It's not
You start hallucinating. It's
Driver
impossible.
passed out.
Yeah. Dude, he was just like sitting there, just like, his eyes, like,
oh, I
he
drove
couldn't
10
sleep.
hours once. That was terrific.
He couldn't sleep. So, but no, I remember the first major intersection we went through. It was like a 5-way. It was this huge intersection. And we're on the left side of the road, right? Well, going through an intersection, it looks like everybody is in your lane from a American's perspective. Everybody on the right side of the road. You're on the opposite, so you see cars. You think everybody's just like gonna just. I remember driving through like, oh my god, it was nuts, man.
You're in the biggest vehicle around too.
That Sprinter van, that was
Dude, I drove like 90% of the time in the van, the van era for Tonic, and with a trailer, it's not easy, and there's all signs every half mile saying that the trailers need to stay in a certain speed,
The right lane.
Yeah, 55. You can't, you're not supposed to be going 70, 75 with a trailer.
Right.
Yeah, and
I was fucking doing 90. Like,
Yeah, and the trailer's bouncing.
Yeah.
It's not just that. If you swerve with a trailer,
Oh yeah,
that thing starts. It'll yank you off the highway.
You're a slave. Yeah, it's bad. But I mean,
Yeah, but it's fun though when you're on that, you're in that bus or you're in a smaller, like a van and a trailer, and you're in the right lane and you see like 18 wheelers going around you because you're not powerful enough. They're supposed to stay in the right lane, but even they can get around you because you just can't pull that hill. You're in the middle of fucking nowhere. And when you're riding in the middle of the night, it's just you and trailers. You wave to each other all night long. You're just constantly going back and forth all night long. Same trucks.
Oh, and they're always pulling in front of you, like, and you're like, fuck, because then you have to wait, like, 2 minutes.
Then you have to wait when you get on the next hill.
Yep.
Because you're not going to be able to overtake them on that hill.
God.
Then you get up over the top of the hill, you get in the left lane immediately and try to go as fast as you can down and get as much space between you and them before the next hill.
Yeah, it's exciting. I have some of the best times of my life, 25, 26, 27 years old.
Yeah.
Going all over this country. I've been everywhere in North America like 5 times because of Tonic, and it was it was a great experience, and all the people I met and just watching them grow, like every show that we played, especially early in the bus days, people didn't know who we were. They didn't know the band at all. And we were opening for some, a band with more notoriety and, had a following. So that band's following would latch on to Tonic every night that we played. Like we would, we would leave the parking lot with people outside the van, like, waving, like running along with the van every night. Like it was a trip. And what was cool was, when they set up to start going, I would just watch the people and watch their faces and realize that they were about to see a band play 8 great fucking songs, that they'd never heard before, that they didn't expect to hear. And, these songs they'd be singing, for a number of years afterwards. And all those people were very proud that they saw Tonic in that situation early on, because they felt like they were part of the grassroots, and they built this huge following every night doing this. And we knew it was going to be a big thing, just because every night people had like a visceral reaction to this music. It was, and if people are out there don't know what I'm talking about, put on Tonic's Lemon Parade, the first record. There's not a bad song on it. And there's some, songs that you've heard a million times and you're like, that's Tonic. Like you don't,
Hold on a second.
So, it was a great time, and I'm glad I was able to do it. Although I broke my back doing it. So
Caleb, I think, what years what were you on tour with them?
96, 97, 98.
There you go, Van Halen.
Did you guys ever go to New York?
Yeah.
Wonder if you came to the Chance in Poughkeepsie.
I don't remember Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
I think I would remember that, but I know we played. We did Niagara, like Buffalo, and we did obviously New York City and
remember New Hampshire at all? You remember
New Hampshire?
New Halen?
I think
You did
Manchester.
Place,
Manchester. The Toad's Place gig got canceled. I remember for some reason there was a cancellation, but we were in town. But there was a cancellation. That was a bummer because my cousins are from Connecticut. So
I probably would have gone if it was a Toad's Place. I
Yeah.
saw a ton of shows.
Did you guys do Kenny's Key West in New Orleans, or were you downtown?
yes,
No.
Kenny's.
Kenny's Key West is in Fat City, which is a smaller version of the French Quarter.
Yeah,
It's a cool bar.
The smaller version of Fat
it's
City.
it's the converted basketball court, right?
It's a nice bar. Kenny's Key West. It's where Shannon Hoon died.
Oh wow,
Shannon Hoon was in his bunk.
Shannon Hoonan.
Shannon
Shannon
Hoon.
Hoonan. Yeah, Shannon Hoon was in his bus. Was in his bus in the driveway of Kenny's Key West that afternoon.
Yeah, New Orleans.
They found him.
New Orleans is a fantastic place to play.
Love New Orleans. It's because music is so ingrained in the culture there.
Yeah,
You can see a great band every night, everywhere.
and the crowds are great. Yeah,
everybody
into
in
it.
New Orleans loves it.
God, I miss live shows. Oh my God. Fuck.
That's what brings us back to what we were talking about, man. It's fucking
Jesus.
and as I said on Tuesday night with Mancuda, anybody in the chat, we're talking about missing live shows. Remember this. Remember all of this when live shows come back, and make sure you buy tickets every weekend to see somebody. Local band, whatever it is. Just get out, have a couple beers, or do whatever it is that you do. If you don't drink, have some food, just hang out with some friends and just go see bands and go see live music and support it. Because these bars need the fucking money. Really need the money right now.
A lot of them are closing. I mean,
it's so bad.
Those
Ben, Tom, we played Lauderdale. I don't remember a Miami gig, but I do remember playing Fort Lauderdale somewhere on that strip. Fort Lauderdale used to be the coolest place in the world. That definitely changed, but like in the early 90s, mid 90s, it was still pretty happening.
spring break.
Yeah,
I was there in the late
Dog thing,
90s.
be right back.
When I lived at Desmond's.
Mhm.
We played Fort Lauderdale, and we were based in Miami, so we played all over Miami Beach, Miami
Mhm.
area.
Yeah, Florida's great. I mean, I remember just the chicks in Florida and Texas. Like it's like a different world, like a different world. I remember
in Miami, we would go downtown. Everybody you saw was a model.
Yep.
Everyone.
Yep.
And this was right after what's his name was murdered. Is his mansion?
Versace.
This was literally right after that happened. when I lived there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, South Beach is sick. Like back then, it was just crazy.
That's where I was, South Beach. Yeah, walking around with Desmond Child, and everybody knowing who he was. You know.
Great question, Renus. Put that one up. Yeah, no comment.
Is that an actual thing?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was reading something on Facebook. It was when Stevie Ray Vaughan opened for Huey Lewis. I don't know if anybody else saw that. And after the first gig,
imagine being the guitar player in Huey Lewis.
You're right.
Yeah. To follow that. Oh my God.
But they had a horrible first gig apparently, and the people were like Huey, while Stevie was playing, and then Huey, went backstage, and as a real professional, he's like, embrace this. This is, you guys have a chance to expose all these new people to all this new music, and eventually they had a great tour with Huey Lewis, but it's like when Huey Lewis and Stevie Ray Vaughan, like you say, you got a guitar shredder blues guy versus the crooner and the
When was this?
I love Huey Lewis. This was 84, I think. This was right around sports, I guess. I guess it was probably the sports tour.
You sure?
I'm not sure. No,
I saw them on the sports tour. That was my
it was probably a handful of dates that Stevie Ray, maybe it was a different album, but
I wonder if I
just noticed it on Facebook
because I wouldn't have known who he was at the time, so it's possible I saw him.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known. Nobody knew I didn't know who Stevie Ray Vaughan was till the 90s, but as just a casual rock fan, you wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
But,
we did this, we got the first tour with Tonic was like 5 weeks, and we opened for this band called Wakeland. And they were like, they had a following like in, the Southern Midwest and I
remember Tonic. I don't remember Wakeland.
We did a bunch of shows with them, and they were a good band. But I remember like the first 2 weeks we were out, the guys were nervous, and it was new, and they'd never toured, and none of the guys in the band had ever toured, and they didn't have their sea legs under them. The songs could speak for themselves, but they performing on stage is a different animal completely. And I remember we did all these club shows, and then we had an outdoor show in Chicago, like on a block party show, and we played the Boogie Nights opened, and then Tonic, and then the Smithereens. And I remember we stayed and watched the Smithereens set.
That was fast.
And that band was so good that I remember all the guys, like the next show after that, like they had it, like they knew what to do. And that gig like changed Tonic's, trajectory as far as their stage performance and how they interacted with each other and with the crowd and everything. Like it was like, and I think if things would have been different if we didn't play with the Smithereens, because that was obviously the biggest show. It was like 2,500 people, like an outdoor, area somewhere downtown Chicago. Great gig, big, huge stage, and it was the big time. And I just remember how the Smithereens just killed, like, because we thought we were pretty good, but the Smithereens were just insane. Like they had great songs, and they sounded better than the record, and it was a really good moment for the band because they learned how to be a rock band that night. And things changed. So
I remember that clicking moment for us. It was one of the first tours we did. It was with remember a band Head PE?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I have one of their picks somewhere.
Yeah, they were they took us out in the end of 04. No, must have been the beginning of 04 or 05, I mean. And I remember one of the bands we played. We weren't direct support. We were, we played. It was us, then another band, and then Head PE. And I remember after the first couple shows, like one of the guys that was our tour manager, this dude Kentucky, he was telling, he's like, dude, the band that's playing after you guys, I forget how was their names. Anyway, he goes, you guys go on, you do your thing, they go on. He's like, they're blowing you off the stage, and he was like, you're better than they are. But for some reason, you're not looking the part. It's just not something, it's not happening. And we all as a band heard that. And we're like, yeah, we are fucking better than you. What the hell are we doing up there? So it was a little bit of that competition and somebody pushing you, saying, guys, this isn't just for fun, Yeah.
I remember.
Go ahead, Paul.
I was just going to say, we would do these festivals. We do a festival in Kansas City called Rockfest, and 2 stages, 55,000 people at a radio station festival, one of the biggest festivals in the Midwest. And every year, there's a certain group of bands that you kind of always see on these same festivals. They play the festival circuit every year. And every year we would look to see the reaction of what band saw that they were slotted to go on after Seven Dust, because they were fucked. Because they were fucked. And you could see it too. The bands would look at the list and the running order and they would go, fuck. Because they knew there was nothing they could do, because those guys can get a crowd worked up. Their songs are fucking great. Their show is great. And people love them. And if they don't, it's just kind of like what Caleb was saying about with Tonic. If you go to a Seven Dust show and you've never heard of them, and I mean, obviously they've been around 30 years now, but if you go to a Seven Dust show and you've never heard of them and you come and you see them come out and they start playing, about 10 minutes into the set, you're like, oh my God, this is my favorite new band. They just fucking grab you and don't let go. And bands that have to play after bands like that are I mean, they're going to get a lesson. They're going to get a lesson. And the great thing about the guys in Seven Dust is they are so fucking brutal live, so good on stage, and the nicest guys off stage, and so supportive of everybody else on the bill, that you're intimidated by their on-stage performance, and you can't help but embrace them off stage. They couldn't be nicer guys. I wish they were bigger stars.
Yeah,
fucking
definitely.
Outstanding band.
It's one of Wolfgang's favorite bands.
They're a phenomenal band.
They're really good, and I remember meeting those guys, because I don't think we played with them, but I remember we were in town at the same time, and we went to see that.
Yep.
And definitely a worlds apart from a lot of bands in that genre. Like, they have their own thing.
Yep. They're better than a lot of the bands in that genre, and should be bigger than a lot of those bands. But for whatever reason, they just bad record deal, bad management, don't know what it is, but those guys just couldn't catch a break. Still making great records today. But the point being, having to go on after a band like Seven Dust was not fun. That's one of those click moments for a live band. You go, oh shit, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, because it's like sports. It's like, an athlete who makes a team. And my dad always said this, like, whenever I went to a ball game with my dad would go, he goes, point to a guy in the bullpen just sitting there, and he go, you see that guy? And I go, yeah. And he goes, that guy's the best player in his state.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's sitting there, that pitcher who's a reliever, the best player in his state. And it was like, wow. So when bands would come up and they'd start touring and then they play these festivals, they're the best band in their town. They're the best band in their county. But then they get together with these other bands on these big bills. They're just another band. And it's how you set yourself apart at that level. Yeah.
Right.
And so, there's a learning curve to touring, and, no one just comes out of the gate like, except like something like Van Halen and they cured their act. They worked harder than anybody before anybody knew who they were.
Well, they did like what the Beatles did when you're playing, 3-hour sets a night for 6 nights a week.
Yes.
You woodshed on stage.
Yeah, they were doing Hamburg. They were doing On the Sunset Strip, at Gazzari's and, whatnot. So it's definitely.
And it is about hard work. Your father talking about, sports and stuff like that with you. I mean, and obviously, a lot of these people have, the God-given ability or whatever you call it, the natural talent. But these guys don't get to be professional athletes by busting their asses and being literally obsessed with something. It's not something that you think about doing or you put in a little bit. No, these guys, they're out there, and it's same with bands and musicians. Like I was thinking of something today. I was listening to Dream Theater, and I was thinking of Mike Mangini when he took over for Mike Portnoy, when he quit, whatever happened with that whole debacle. And when he was trying out for Dream Theater, when they had the auditions and stuff, and they actually filmed a lot of the stuff. Mm. Now, Mike Mangini, he's one of the probably top 5 drummers on the planet as far as technicality and what he can play. He's the fastest drummer. He's already proven that. Well, when he got the opportunity to audition for Dream Theater, he could have been like, well, I'll learn the songs and, I'll just go in there and whatever. No, he literally mapped out like every single drum part of all the songs that he was going to audition to like exactly like, okay, he would listen to the music and he'd show him like at the drum kit. And he'd like, okay, well, he does this. And then he like jot down certain things about, okay, this is the rhythm and this is where this beat is. And, time signature, anything. And he was like as prepared as you could possibly be for anything. And this is Mike Mangini. He could have been like, well, I don't really need the gig. I'm doing Berkeley and all this other stuff.
Oh, no. I mean, he had already done the Extreme and Vi gigs. So it's almost like we talk about the woodshedding thing. And I was going to use an analogy, not to interrupt you, but to sort of run parallel to it. I was at physical therapy yesterday because I have neck and back issues that I get taken care of. And there was this little 16, 17-year-old kid on the table next to me getting his knee worked on. And I said to him, I go, what happened to your knee? And he goes, well, I got hurt.
Kid, that's not your knees rubbing, right?
He was getting his knee worked on. I said, well, what are you doing? He goes, I play junior hockey. And this 17-year-old kid is still in the juniors doing his time, getting his seasoning so that he can go to the next level and then maybe see someday, in 3 or 4 years, find himself in the NHL. Well, with Mike Mangini, he went from these couple of bands in Boston to Extreme to Vi to Dream Theater. And if you look at the progression musically about the difficulty level, he took something from each of those things. So by the time that I'm sure he learned that charting and to try and chart those rhythms when he had to deal with Vi.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure that was, and then he went to Berkeley to teach that. You know what I mean? So there's that step-by-step thing to get there. So of course he was prepared when he went into that Dream Theater gig.
No, but what I'm saying is those are the people that succeed.
Yeah.
They do whatever it takes. Like I said, he could have just learned the songs, played with them. Okay, I got this song. No big deal. This is nothing. No,
and the guys that are really good, but they're assholes. Like it's because they're really good that they've made it. Because anybody who's okay and is an asshole, see it.
Yeah,
but there's an ROI on that too.
See it.
There's an ROI on that, and this, Caleb, because it's funny you do this because I posted that thing about Sebastian Bach today.
I wanted to talk about that.
What a phenomenal singer. A phenomenal singer, but if he weren't such a douchebag and made so many bad decisions early on in his career, he would be viewed up there with guys like Halford and guys like Jeff Tate and guys like Bruce Dickinson. His voice is that versatile and that good.
But the Tate thing, everybody knows Tate's an asshole, but you know why?
But the ROI, because he's so fucking good.
No, but when I saw that post, and I actually took a screenshot of your post today just so I'd remember to talk about this. I think
you got it in for me tonight, don't you, Jay?
The reason why Sebastian isn't in that same category with the other guys is the catalog. Sebastian Bach was on 2 all-time classic rock albums, and that's it. When their 3rd album came out, what the hell was the name of that piece of crap?
Thick Skin.
Huh? Dick Skin.
Snake.
Snake Dickskin.
Snake Dickskin.
No, like Bach hasn't been on anything good since 91 or 92. What year that out?
Neither has Jeff Tate.
Yeah, but Tate's in one of like the all-time like
Tate's been on 2 records that anybody knows.
Didn't Bach do Broadway for a while?
Sebastian, there's an argument to be made, Jay, that Sebastian Bach's 2-record catalog is bigger than Queensryche's 2-record. Those 2 records that everybody knows from Jeff Tate.
I wouldn't even put Tate in that category with the other guys, but at the same time, I mean, I'm a Queensryche fan, so maybe I'm more biased to how many
it's generally assumed that the 3 best voices in heavy metal are Rob Halford, Jeff Tate, and Ronnie James Dio. That's the general assumption.
So I wouldn't put Tate in that category.
You'd be in the minority there.
And I wouldn't either
on
top 3.
But people do. People do.
I think Queensryche fans do.
I think if you look at all-time great metal singers, I would guarantee you that Jeff Tate's in the top 3 of most lists. Most lists, he's there.
And Empire is one of my all-time favorite records. So it's not like I dislike his voice. I love his voice.
Right.
That stuff.
Wait, so Halford is above Dickinson?
You can slot them any way you want.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, because
I think Bruce Dickinson is the greatest.
Dickinson has a more trained voice.
Yeah, Iron Maiden is just so much more intricate than Judas Priest. Just their music and their power. You know,
Dickinson and Dio, I would say, were a top 2. I mean, and then who are you putting 3? That's a good question. I mean,
if you can put a
metal.
I think Dickinson's the greatest metal singer of all time, but generally assumed those are the guys that everybody goes nuts over.
David
and
Coverdale,
I think it's because
maybe?
Coverdale's not that good.
No,
and it's not metal,
and it's not really metal. But I think Bruce Dickinson's the best metal singer ever. He's so good, and then Dio is right there along with him. Halford is great, but his early stuff is not very good.
God, I wish I'd seen Iron Maiden live. I've never seen them live.
Oh, really?
So
good.
I always think of the 2007 time we saw him, but we did Ozfest, so I saw him every night. What am I talking about?
Wow.
Iron Maiden is.
I don't know if Halford's up there. Yeah, I mean, I think Halford had his. You know, it was all the. He had his place, but I don't think he was in the top 3. I certainly wouldn't put him.
You would say Rob Halford's not in the top 3?
No, I would think Dio, Dickinson, and then somebody else. Not Halford though. I mean, I think Rob Halford's great, and his but it was all Judas Priest. It was just the few hits that he really shined on.
But the point of that post was that Sebastian Bach has a voice like that. Sebastian Bach has a scream that is as good as any metal scream that's ever been, and he's got a tone that's as good as any tone.
And he brings it live. He brings it live. Like it's something you notice live. I've seen them live, and you notice it. Like it's
he's the total package. The problem is the ROI on that.
He steals
is the total package worth the bullshit?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I think Sebastian Bach is definitely. I mean, Slave to the Grind is one of my favorite vocal performances of all music. He is untouchable. And I'm sure there were moments when they were doing that record where the producer, engineer, whoever, when he's in there belting those vocals going, holy shit.
Yeah. What a voice.
Yeah. I mean, and he could do the guttural stuff too. Like he could set that. I consider Slave to the Grind the heaviest record that's not a metal record. I mean, that thing is like this close to being metal, man. It's almost there. But it doesn't get there, and it's amazing. God, what a great record! Just because of him.
Yeah, I think he'll go down as a great vocalist, one of the best, in the metal genre. But
I think he gets
Sebastian Bach. I mean, holy crap!
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is not only is he a great growler, but God, the timbre of that voice when he's doing stuff like 18 in Life and doing stuff like I Remember You. I Remember You is a phenomenal vocal performance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does stuff like
Quicksand Jesus, holy shit, right?
And then he does stuff like Get the Fuck Out, which is great. It's a punk song, and Youth Gone Wild is as anthemic as anything and as good as, if not better than, almost everything Motley Crue's written.
Yep.
It's a great fucking song. But the guy, for whatever reason, he had Kevin DuBrow disease and just pissed on everything on his way up and down. And I think, like Ted Nugent, as a guitar player, his mouth sort of keeps him from being viewed as
As a human being.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Love you,
such a
Ted.
great guitar
Uncle
player.
Ted, come on, man. But
Such a great guitar player, but what an asshole.
I have his pick somewhere.
Well, my thing is like I feel like man, Sebastian, he doesn't have that, you know,
What does he not have?
long career of being in that category of like, yeah, he's still making music.
He had like 3 years of hits. I mean, you know, whereas Iron Maiden had 10 years of hits, and you know, I don't know. Priest had 10 years of hits.
Those
That
Skid
video
Row
was
albums for their time were much
short
bigger
career.
than any of the other bands.
Remember that video of him? He got hit with a bottle
Yeah.
and he fired it back in the. Who the fuck threw that, man? You know,
It was like
That's
the
my
Axl
point.
Rose type of thing.
he picked that bottle up and just
Yep.
fired it. What, like Nolan Ryan into the crowd. It gave, I think, some girl in the crowd got 100 stitches or something.
Somebody got hurt. Yeah, I remember seeing the.
By the way, I want to
What was it?
asshole.
Rock News.
address thrash metal and fun riffs. You couldn't be more incorrect. Punk and metal don't rely on good vocals. Joey Ramone is a great singer. He was a great singer, and both of the guys in the Clash were great singers. I love both guys in the Clash. I think Joe Strummer and Mick Jones were both cool singers.
Yep.
Again, if they fit the bill for the band, and Johnny Lydon, as bad as a singer
The
as
Clash
he
and
is,
the Ramones. I wouldn't compare them at all.
Dude, I mean,
you wouldn't compare the two.
Billy Joe,
I
that's
can't
a punk
stand
band.
the Ramones.
Yeah, Billy Joe,
Billy Joe has one of the greatest voices of all time.
he can sing.
He
Yeah,
really does.
Sure he can.
Like,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, and a longer career than anybody. I mean, look how
he
many,
bigger career. Bigger.
He can
career
actually
than
play too.
yeah.
Right.
My friend taught him guitar.
I'm not a Green Day fan, but I've never not come out of a Green Day show impressed, having fun.
I don't know. Back in the
Dude, it's a
Dookie
fucking
days,
great
did
show.
he know how to play or
Always
what?
great.
There was no solo. That whole album, I remember. I mean, past Dookie, they were great. But the Dookie days, I don't remember
Billy
a
Joe
solo or
brings it
anything
all.
that was like.
He
anything
would come
impressive.
into the shop that I worked at between Dookie and what was the
Are
one
you
after
saying
that?
there's nothing after Dookie?
No, I'm saying the
Are you
opposite.
kidding me?
I'm saying Dookie was simple and punk, but
What was the
after
one with
Dookie,
Time
they-
of Your
they went
Life
down.
on it?
Good, yeah. Good Riddance
That-
might be
that
the greatest rock
Good
song of
Riddance,
the fucking 90s.
That's what I'm saying. I think after
Dude,
Dookie,
and
they
then
really
American
hit their
Idiot
stride.
is one of the greatest
Oh yeah, classics.
like records ever done. Oh my
I
god.
agree.
American Idiot
I
is
agree.
the wall of punk
Insomniac.
rock.
Yeah, he would come in to the shop,
Or
the
Tommy.
guitar shop I
Yeah,
worked
Tommy.
at when they were recording
Or
Insomniac.
Tommy, yeah.
And he would plug into guitars and play, and he could actually play. Like it wasn't just the Green Day stuff that you would
Oh,
hear. He would
no,
actually
he's-
play actual
And
Rolling Stones tunes.
he's as good a live performer as anybody.
But what do you guys
Like,
remember
fantastic.
when they did first come out in 94 or whatever? When
Yes.
they were,
Yeah, because they were from
were
here, so it was the biggest thing ever.
So I remember too. Yeah, they were all over MTV and Woodstock '94 and all that.
I'll be
But
back.
Do you think they grew significantly after that, or
Yes.
do you think they kind of right? Okay, so they were really just punk in that first album, really. And
Yeah,
no
but
solos. It
every
was straight
song
ahead
on it-
rock, punk. and
Every
that kind
song
of
on that
stuff.
record is a motherfucker.
I agree, and I love that. It was a great album, and I have no problems with it. But I'm just saying, I think they really hit their stride after their first album. As much
Yeah,
as
and
the
this
first
is
album
where-
was a classic.
This is where thrash metal tries to say that Green Day is not punk rock.
Isn't Green Day like the first pop punk record? Like the band?
Well, I wouldn't. No, I would say Combat Rock is a pop punk record.
I don't know what that is.
Combat Rock is a Clash record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock the Casbah is a pop punk song. Train in Vain from the Clash is a pop punk song. Those
And
songs
Ha-
are,
Police, you could say the Police were punk rock for
the
for
Police
their
were
first
punk rock. They
album,
were
too.
proto punk.
U2 was punk.
U2
punk rock.
originally when they first came out. Yeah.
Talking
Yeah.
Heads. Keep going.
Ed Halen on Facebook. It was called Subway.
Ooh, Subway. You go
Subway.
to a Subway and your
sounds
clothes
good.
smell like bread for the rest of the friggin' year.
If anybody knows Berkeley, you know Subway guitars. Everybody came in there. That's where I was.
And
I
then
love good punk rock.
went the subway to get a guitar, and then went the subway to eat.
I don't know. The Ramones and Sex Pistols never did anything for me. I never really got into the Ramones or Sex, but beyond that, some of the other punk.
If it was the
Go ahead,
Ramones,
Jay.
it would have been all over it.
The Ramones are great, man.
The Ramones are
The
awesome.
Ruddles. The
The
Ruddles.
Ramones, man.
The Ruddles.
I never had anything. I just.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
we
know,
still
man.
have that group, that thing in the Discord, the Ruddles.
The Ruddles.
Thrash metal's right. The Who was punk. So were the Kinks. So were the Stooges. So was the
That's right.
MC5.
Remember,
That's who invented punk rock. Those guys
Well,
invented punk.
They weren't strictly punk, but they had punk elements. I wouldn't say the Kinks and the Who were strictly punk. I mean,
You really got me.
they had a
as
little bit
punk
of
song.
everything.
You really got me as a punk
Oh, yeah.
song. My generation is
The
a punk
Stones.
song.
I mean, the Stones had some punk songs. You know, even Satisfaction was almost punkish.
Almost, yeah.
Just
I mean,
power
there's an
chords
argument to
and-
be made that
and-
Revolution from the Beatles is a metal song. Helter Skelter certainly a metal song.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
What was I just gonna say?
Police weren't reggae; they were twin tone.
You sons of bitches! I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Twin tone.
Yeah, they had ska, elements of ska in there.
Oh, remember the Guitar World issue with the Nevermind the Bullocks or whatever the hell it is
Yep.
on the
Never mind the bollocks. Yeah,
on the cover. Remember that? And thinking,
Dead
who is
Kennedys,
that?
The Exploited, the Jam. All of that stuff is great.
MC5.
MC5
Remember,
and the Stooges were doing in the United States what the Kinks and the Who were doing over in the
Mhm.
UK, and all of those guys begat Sex Pistols, Ramones, Clash. Talking Heads were punk when they
Right.
first started out.
I guess the Who and the Kinks were they had the first elements of it. I would say.
Everybody was punk.
1964, yeah.
If you think about it, every band that starts out, they start out punk.
Yeah,
Any
'cause
garage
you don't
band
have to
was
know
a
how to
punk
play.
band, yeah. Power chords and three
My
power
first
chords.
band
That's
was
all you
punk.
need.
Power chords, man.
Three
Slide
power
that,
chords.
slide that.
If you're in a punk band and nobody buys your records, you're cool. You become punk.
That was my guitar tone.
You sell records, and how does he say? I sent that to you, right? That video. I love
See,
that.
thrash metal likes to paint everything with a broad stroke. The lead vocalist for a band has to fit the band. Lemmy was a great singer for what he was doing. Motorhead without Lemmy on vocals isn't Motorhead. It's just some other band.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to be the guy. And The Accused is fantastic. Is it a style of vocals that I like? No, but for what they are, it's fantastic. And that's the beauty of those bands. Those bands have to have something that fits the chemistry of the band.
You mentioned just like Guar and the Misfits. Those were, hardcore punk bands, but they had especially Guar. I mean, they were so far beyond any of that. They had their own such a unique performance, and even their music was very unique. Guar was one of those bands that I saw once. I saw them live once. Got covered in blood.
That wasn't blood.
Well, whatever it was.
But it's great. Johnny will talk about the Police. The Police started out way more punky than they ended up, but they added elements of world music and twin tone and reggae and all that stuff, ska, into their stuff, and
they had
became
to,
something on their own.
They had to be punk. They had to look and sound kind of punkish so they could play.
Yep.
It was the same story with the Clash. Yeah.
But there was so much more to them.
Oh, well, it was Sting.
It was all of them. I mean, every one of them had such a vital role in that band. I mean,
you don't have to tell me, but
no, I know
But it was Sting. It was Sting. Without Sting, they wouldn't. Nothing would have.
Without Stuart Copeland's backbeat and without
but without Sting, it was all Sting. It was all Sting. It was Sting's songwriting. It was Sting as a personality. I love you, Andy, and I love you, Stuart. I love him, but it was Sting.
Yeah, the songs with him, it would have been a hit. Everything else was I don't want to say, extra, but literally, yeah,
And I'm not a huge Sting solo fan at all, but Sting with the Police, there's just the Police.
He was hit or miss after the Police, But when he hit, he was great. But when he missed, he really missed. You can't create chemistry. Those three guys made it work. And it was phenomenal.
Good night, Dan.
I think the Police are still criminally underrated.
Criminal.
Oh, they're next.
Super underrated.
If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be sitting here on YouTube at midnight. What?
KTC said 5150 says Police opening for the Who at Shea Stadium getting booed off. I know the Clash opening for the Who at Shea Stadium. Oh, what do we got there?
O'Reilly. Yeah.
I don't know about the Police opening for the Who at Shea Stadium.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Oh, he slowed it down. That's
Fucking thing sucks.
Man.
Wait a minute.
1981.
Wait. Remember this one?
Some people look at me and say, man, that guy's too plain. He's got nothing to offer, you know. Some people look at me and say, hey, man, that guy looks like a handsome athlete kind of guy that I am, you know. Am I
Look at Sammy sitting there with his
That mushroom head mullet.
Yeah. Imagine he dyed his hair red on that tour. I feel like Bozo. Oh man. I can't find the video of Eddie saying the whole pop. That thing. I thought I sent it to you guys, but I guess I didn't.
Pop. Yeah, that was the Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
What do you mean by pop audience?
Well, I mean,
To me, pop, if you make good music and more people like it, all of a sudden you're pop. You know, if you're a punk band and nobody buys your records, then you're cool or something. I don't know. I don't get it, you know?
And then it's the old Jason Newsted. Everybody says we sold out. Yeah, we sold out last night. We sold out tonight. We'll sell out tomorrow night.
That's right.
People, that's one of the things is credibility is great, but this is the music business.
Yeah. You know those memes that people like they take somebody's face, making a weird face, and they like put a quote on it. Somebody's got to do one to this, man. Like when you say something crazy, you know,
right.
This is the response to it. Like how great!
It doesn't even look like him.
All of a sudden, you're pop. That's when he says that.
You know what's funny is I heard this the other night. Remember how everybody? One of the big complaints after the 1984 record was that Dave didn't want to hear any keyboards on Van Halen albums, and then Going Crazy on Eat 'Em and Smile is fucking buried in keyboards, which I thought was a weird sort of, I don't know if it was a deliberate slap in the face or not, but it just dawned on me the other night while I was listening to it when it went by how much keyboard is on that song.
Do you think
he had
do you
Brett
think
Tuggle, wasn't it?
Yeah, Brett Tuggle.
But do you think it's because, if Roth might have not wanted keyboards before Jump, but then when that becomes your most popular song ever, you're like, shit, Roth isn't dumb. Like, all right.
Yeah, and you think about it, that keyboard, the way that keyboard line runs through Going Crazy is very Jump-esque. The tone of it and everything like that. I mean, it's almost the exact same tune.
Who produced that album? You can hear the producers saying we got to have some keyboards on that. It was Templeman.
Templeman.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So he advocated for the keyboards on that. Yeah.
I just thought it was just dawned on me
times.
It's not something I ever thought of until last night. It just, you hear a song 1,000 times and all of a sudden something new pops in your head. And I was like, oh my God, this is very Jump-like in its tone and the feel.
Even Crazy from the Heat. I mean, California Girls was all synthesizer and.
Oh yeah, well he deliberately made a record with no guitars, is what he said.
Right.
It was 1986. Everything was synthesizer.
Yeah,
it had to be there.
Yeah,
and guess why?
Yeah, because Herbie Hancock made it popular, and Thomas Dolby made it popular.
Rocket.
And the Thompson twins made it popular.
Yeah, but
those guys were the guys that made it popular on MTV. And then MTV, and then the Van Halen guys applied it to the rock thing. But synthesizer was, that wasn't an Eddie thing.
And I ran.
Mr. Roboto? Oh my God.
Yeah, all those. I mean, even before that, when you heard "Angry Young Man" from Styx, they were using synthesizers long before Van Halen did.
What is Fret Level Midnight saying before I post that? What does that mean?
About what?
In the chat.
What
does that mean?
Cue
Are you being sarcastic?
Shit talk. Jeez, this guy.
Are you being sarcastic?
Why is it reviewed?
I don't know. Show it.
Yeah, show it.
Show it.
Oh, great. Caleb. Q. That's not how you spell Q, by the way. Q. the Van Halen shit talk. Quay. K.
Quay.
How do I talk shit about Van Halen? Yeah, I hate. Okay, you're being sarcastic. Very good. Okay.
Obviously, being dead serious.
Okay, you got me. It's late. You got me.
You really got me.
No, I think Jump made it okay for everybody at who's ever even in a harder. Harder
the
version.
top bands in 1984, the top rock bands in 84. Who else do we have that I mean,
well, Springsteen
that would have had keyboards or the prominent keyboards. I mean, was Jump really one of the first hard rock albums? I mean, certainly Dio had all that, and
Def Leppard.
Maiden didn't have it. Def Leppard had it,
right? But Eddie had the riff to Jump back before Fair Warning.
Oh yeah,
he had it way back then.
Distinctive.
But he brought it out.
Tone.
He brought it out in '84,
sound.
probably because that was the sound that was happening.
Exactly.
It wasn't just like what Paul was saying. Duran Duran, Nick Rhodes, that was around.
But they weren't necessarily a rock band. I mean, Def Leppard's a good example. Who else was a big rock band? I mean, Bon Jovi.
Yeah, Bon Jovi had keyboards.
First hits in '84.
Runaway was all keyboards. That intro is to Runaway is keyboards.
Motley Crue didn't have, they didn't have keyboards really. Did they? I mean, I guess they had keyboard tracks. Yeah, but that was piano. That was a specific piano, not necessarily the synth on Jump is so distinctive.
Yeah, no, there were
'84
keyboards
itself. So
yeah, because he created that.
If you want to go back to 1982, Saga's On the Loose is all keyboards too. Or
What's
81
that?
maybe.
Saga's
On the Loose. You'd know the song if you heard it. It was all over MTV.
Who is that?
It's a one-hit wonder.
Saga.
Called
Saga. Okay.
Yeah.
Saga.
Dane.
Saga was a. There we go.
Hey, Dane.
Dane, we miss you.
But only break out the makeup.
Only as ace. I don't know what I mean. If we're talking keyboards in 1984,
Loverboy's "Take Me to the Top" was a massive keyboard song.
Mm-hmm. REO Speedwagon
every song
was
in
big
80,
around then.
Every song in '84 had keyboards.
But the synth sound. I mean, the Jump sound was so distinctive. I mean, it was pop
because Eddie created that sound for that song. It was that keyboard did not. That wasn't a preset.
It wasn't a patch. Yeah, it wasn't.
No,
he had to. Mold
Although it doesn't sound all that much different than Keith Emerson's synthesizer on Lucky Man.
Well, I've never heard that song.
Yeah.
Oh, you've heard Lucky Man, Johnny. You've heard Lucky Man.
Yes, you have.
Have I? Is it Pop?
Oh, what a lucky man he was.
Pop.
Yep.
It was Pap.
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 Gonna throw the Chicago Midwest accent in there.
Nobody's
Pap.
Play keyboards, man.
It was poop.
Duran Duran wasn't rock necessarily, though. I mean, that was
Their guitar player was.
the Police had some synth, and even U2 had synth. But yeah,
every breath you take, all that was Synthesizer. And then Sting told Andy Summers to come in and do his thing,
play a riff,
and then he came up with that riff, and look what happened.
Daddy ruined it.
Can you play it, Johnny? Pick up that.
By the way,
guitar.
there were synthesizers on Eliminator.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
That was a 3-piece. There was synth drums on that, and Frank Beard probably played an electric kid on that. On a lot of that album.
Frank Beard, broken string on this guitar.
The one guy without a beard.
There's synth on the new Gizmochi record, man.
There was synth on. I'll give you a list of songs. Here you go. Songs that had synthesizer before Eddie Van Halen on Jump that were big. The Police, Def Leppard, The Tube, She's a Beauty was massive. Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Owner of a Lonely Heart, yeah.
Twilight Zone from Golden Earring. Separate Ways from Journey.
Twilight Zone, what a great song, man.
Separate Ways.
Yeah, Separate Ways.
I like the video better than the song, man.
I've never seen the video. I'm sure I have.
We were in a Twitter thing earlier, and that was what I said on Twitter.
How about Don't Tell Me You Love Me from Night Ranger? Lots of synth in that.
But now, I mean, then look at Jump, and it's synth right up front. That's the premier instrument in that.
Keyboard driven, yeah. It's the main
keyboard driven.
Yeah.
Some of
these
because
otherwise it would have been guitar.
Right.
Separate Ways is keyboard driven.
Yeah. I mean, I know there are several that fit the bill, but
yeah. Well, the keyboard player wrote all the songs in Journey.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, there's difference between like having synth driven songs like Jump.
She Blinded Me with Science.
And then 5150, you got Love Walks In and
stuff like that. But then there's stuff like when I mentioned the Gizmochi record, there's no parts where like the synth is driving. It's literally as a certain part you just put something in to help fill it up, get stuff moving around, like an arpeggiated part here and there. But it's not like
back to a year and a half in the life where we brought in our synth guy, and who's just this random guy who's I don't even know who that guy was. He was probably brought in for a few tracks.
In the Mood from Robert Plant doesn't work without that synth line running through the end of it.
Sure.
And through the underside of it, and that's keyboard.
There's a ton of great synth songs. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, No,
that's what I'm saying. So I mean, it was happening long before Van Halen.
Sure.
But clearly, after Van Halen did it, the interesting thing about it, the point that I was trying to make originally, which was the whole Roth says he doesn't want keyboards in the band, and then one of the biggest tracks off of his first solo record with his new band is heavily keyboard driven.
Yeah,
I just found that a little bit ironic / hypocritical.
And the synth thing as well is like there's songs where if a band plays that song live without a keyboard player or the tracks being piped in and noticing it versus like I was talking about some things it's just literally to reinforce or just to get some extra something happening to help fill
total quality.
Sure, yeah. But you're right, though, Jay. One of the difficulties with bands that aren't named Rush is trying to recreate everything live.
Rush is a good point. That Rush, had that synth sound too. Yeah,
Rush was able. That's because everybody in the band could play 3 instruments at once.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
But
seeing Rush live was phenomenal.
Oh, it was. But the smart thing about Geddy is a lot of bands go into the studio and they're like, well, this is a studio record. I'm going to worry about playing this stuff live when it's time for rehearsals. Whereas Geddy Lee was smart enough where when there are keyboard parts that he's going to play live, that's when he does the bass pedal.
With his feet, yeah.
He wasn't dumb enough to have him playing a whole bunch of bass riffs and fills over keyboard parts that were the main that he's going to be playing.
And John Paul Jones did that too. In All My Love from Zeppelin, all the bass lines were being played by his feet, while he was playing those great keyboard
lines. No quarter was all John Paul Jones.
So I mean, that's the thing the point I wanted to make there, which was going back to the David Lee Roth thing. David Lee Roth, and you've heard me reference this before, when he would play that song live, He never even named Brett Tuggle. It was, let's big round of applause for the keyboard player.
Oh, he was in the dark in the back of the stage.
Yeah,
you
in
know?
the back. Yeah, kind of like Tom Gimble with Aerosmith for a while. You know, they just take these guys and they put them off to the side or behind a curtain or whatever.
Bob
it is.
Mayo.
Yeah, to try and recreate certain things.
Yeah, but if that was me, Paul, if you're not going to say my name,
don't say anything.
mention me. Don't
Didn't,
even.
didn't Van Halen tour with a keyboard player in the 90s at some point? Was it 98, 90?
No, I think they were all sampled.
95.
95?
They did?
They had Alan Fitzgerald behind a curtain
Oh, I didn't know that.
from Night Ranger.
Interesting.
It's true. Look at the tour book. He's in the tour book.
I always thought a lot of the keyboard
The fifth
samples were triggered.
Later.
Yeah.
Later they were. Yeah, but in
Well,
90.
In,
I used to love it when Alex was doing his drum solo and he had that octopad that was the horns.
mhm.
I always thought that was fucking awesome that he would throw those horn accents in there because it made the drum solo musical as opposed to
That was
just
93. I think he started
wag fest.
doing that. 93, I think, and Right Here, Right Now tour, they just started doing that.
Yeah.
Because before that, he had the
and that's-
electronic drums, but
That's what kind of turned into that Doing Time tune on Balance.
Sure.
That kind of turned into that because Alex he wrote all that.
I love that. I love, being able to take something that intricate and be able to pull it off live. What are you eating, Caleb?
The two guys on
bar.
the bottom are wearing EVH shirts. They're both eating.
Granola bar.
I gotta pee.
All I heard Paul say was,
I gotta go.
"Oh,
Whoa.
pulling out the peanut butter." hey, pups, you want some peanut butter?
Oh. John.
Johnny.
They're. Oh, I'm out of tune.
You were just tuning her for the past 10 minutes.
Yeah. This guitar likes to go out of tune.
Got a tune.
That's actually what Desmond. I was on stage one time. Desmond's like, "You're out of tune," and I was playing this. That tuner feels broken. Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Johnny, I almost bought you 2 Desmond Child records yesterday. I was in a
Johnny has had enough Desmond Child.
I was in a record store here.
Child.
Desmond Child. And it was Desmond Child and the whatever the hell that band was that he was in way back when.
Rouge.
Yeah, it was Desmond Child
and
and the Rouge, yeah. And I almost bought both of those CDs just for you to send them off to you. And then I thought, well, he's probably already got them. He lived with the guy.
I don't have them. I don't have them.
Well, then if I go back to that store, I'll grab them for you just for the fun of it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that was 70s. That was like 70s, like
Yeah, it's
like
awful.
disco type of stuff. And he was on They were on Saturday Night Live. Gilda Radner actually introduced them.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I see it's
Do they have Paul Schaefer playing in the background? Paul Schaefer always
everybody to
joined
grab a
in on
guitar.
those bands.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Oh yeah, this is guitar time.
Yeah, it's time for everybody to grab a guitar and do the guitar pose. I'm gonna go. Mine's gonna be Tiger Beat.
Are we even in tune? I don't know. I don't know if I'm even in tune. What
Pretty
chord are you
sure I'm
playing?
in tune. An A.
Hey Ned.
Oh, bad A.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Oh, let's let the real guitar players on the bottom play.
Oh.
Hmm.
Johnny's a real guitar player.
Janet. Who has a band hammer on Facebook?
Ooh.
They live in Nigeria. I saw their profile.
Somebody call the number.
Whoa.
Yeah,
$5,000.
How do I get rid of them?
$5,000. Could almost afford an Ernie Ball.
Almost. Did you see one allegedly sold for like $10,000 on Reverb?
By Janet.
Wow.
Bear, Janet.
Bear. I'll open up to make sure I have a hammer nearby.
Down below.
It's on Facebook. It's on my Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Bean TV Facebook page is where it was. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
them
Randy
earlier.
Price says, Def Leppard got the idea from guitar riff of God of War from Every Breath You Take. I didn't know that.
And what's amazing about Def Leppard is they admit when they like get an inspiration or rip something off. They admit it. Like the beginning of Armageddon.
Was that? Rocket.
Rocket. Yeah, the beginning of Rocket. That's it. They, I don't even remember their goddamn names right now. Joe Elliott says he heard that idea from the intro to some other song. And they ripped it off. It's basically the same thing.
But they never credited Thomas Dolby for all the keyboard parts he put on several records.
Thomas Dolby did?
Thomas Dolby is on. He's on Pyromania and Hysteria.
Wow, I like that album even more now. Both albums.
Yeah.
Blinded me with science.
That's awesome. You blinded me with science, Gary.
Renas, call that number that they posted. They're in Nigeria.
Fret level,
Armstrong's
yeah.
Rockman. Yeah, I heard that. The Rockman. They what's his name? Mutt Lang.
I mean, you can totally hear it too. That's why I want one.
It was the early days of reamping, right? I mean, that was basically Mutt Lang was a big fan of reamping, and then you had the Bob Rock reamping. I mean, that was, I don't know who started the reamp. I'm sure someone before Mutt Lang started the reamping, but that was what the Rockman provided you with, a raw track, basically, I think.
Yeah, and it's funny because Bob Rock mentions that on the Black album, the year and a half.
Yep.
They were going to record something. He's
We'll
like,
put it through an amp later.
put it through an amp later. I'm like fucking around with sounds right now or something.
Tone.
By the way, there's also a red Ernie Ball Music Man listed on Reverb right now for $17K.
Oh my God!
It's signed allegedly.
Did you
It's
see that
signed down
comment
by the tailpiece.
You see that comment by Randy?
Yeah, Marko Yankovic apparently sold his.
10 grand. He turned around and bought 2 more.
Why not?
Each for 10 grand.
Wow.
Wait, somebody's
Someone's
mad.
gonna pay for it.
Come on. I wouldn't.
Wow.
Why is there an argument over it?
Yeah, why would there be an argument? It's his money. Let him do what he wants.
Oh no.
Exactly.
No, it's just amazing. Because I sold my Ernie Ball, and it wasn't for $5 grand or 10.
I got 2 for $3 grand.
Ugh.
Yeah, years ago when Eddie was in the dumps and the market was anti Van Halen, they were going for a song. I got 2 Music Man Van Halens for $3,000.
Nice.
Man.
Kicking myself. Yeah.
So, anyway.
I'm going to In-N-Out Burger tomorrow.
Oh.
What are you, big timing us?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride my bike over there. We're gonna drive down to Monterey.
Rollerblade over there.
Is it Monterey? Did you see that video?
Was
Me,
it
like-
yeah?
Did you see that? How fast I was going? I almost wiped out too.
It looked like it would
was
have.
scary.
It was almost viral.
Would have been much better if you wiped out, Johnny.
Well,
Only in a viral way. We don't want to see you get hurt.
No.
yeah. But anyway, yeah. We're gonna drive down to Monterey and I think it's like a 2-mile bike ride, which isn't anything, but and then get In-N-Out burgers. Yeah,
Worth it.
Remember Gallagher? He did that thing where he was like, water skiing on roller skates behind like a watermelon or something.
Gallagher.
And
I
he
saw
fell.
Gallagher in one of his most depressing times.
And he fell and
Now, was it actually Gallagher, or or their brother that he sold?
No,
the
it was
act
the
to?
real Gallagher.
In the dressing room, you mean?
Can Jay finish?
I can tell you the Gallagher story if you want to hear.
Well, Jay
Tell me
has
else,
started one.
It's normal.
Let's hear Jay's first.
Remember, he falls. He I don't know if he trips over a rock or he's trying to do anything, and he falls, and the cameraman or somebody's like, "You all right?" "No, I broke my arm." And he had to do the whole stand-up routine. He had a cast on.
Oh, is that on YouTube?
Some guy come out with the sledgehammer, and Buck Blast, and it was a special. It was an HBO special. It wasn't just
he had a bunch of
handful of live shows that he did where he had to have a cast.
Oh, that's got to be on
It
here.
was, it's on there. "No, I broke my arm." The way he says it, man.
How do you spell Gallagher?
Gallagher.
Gallagher.
It had to be around 99, 2000. Gallagher was playing at the club that I worked at, and he was on the back porch, and a fan was coming up to him and kind of giving him a hard time. Not a hard time, but kind of berating him, sign this, sign that. And he just kind of broke down, and he's like, "I'm 50. I've had 3 heart attacks. I'm getting paid such and such money." He just 50? Broke down and whatever he was. Yeah, back then. I mean, this was in the 90s or early 2000s, and it was just depressing. The poor guy was, he was talking about his brother Paul was talking about it, who had taken his act, and then finally, during his show, he just went off on politics, and he went off on people in the crowd. He was just having a bad night. It's one of those things. And then he ended the show with the watermelon and everything else, and destroyed the stage for we were cleaning up after him for weeks after that. But we knew it was coming. So
how many watermelons did he ask for in the dressing room?
I bought the watermelons. I actually bought the watermelons for him. His rider had the watermelons.
No brown watermelons.
Dude, that's a
his
claim
rider
to fame
had
there.
all of that stuff on it. And we actually saw him in the supermarket when we were there. We saw him the day that he was playing.
Why don't you buy this shit? Why am I buying it?
We saw Gallagher in the supermarket. We're buying his watermelons. We're like, "What kind do you want? A big what? What do you want?" And that was so funny. And then that night on the back steps of the club, he was just sitting there kind of with his "I'm on my 3rd heart attack. I'm on my 2nd wife. I'm 50 years old. He had the whole breakdown. It was crazy. It was sad, but it was.
So I thought he gave the act to his brother.
Sold it, leased it to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why, does he have a twin?
Yes.
Yeah. And his twin stole the act, or
there's
bought
a new
the
Gallagher out there that's not the old Gallagher.
No, it's Gallagher too.
They toured together. At the same time.
They did.
You're laughing. That's what he
And they look the same.
Yes,
it's like Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You got one on the west, one on the east. It's like those kind
Go
of.
Go ahead and Google Gallagher too. You'll see it.
Yeah.
Did he make it Gallagher too?
Yes.
Oh, and they hated each.
Oh yeah,
hated
Gallagher
each other,
too.
Till the day they died, or I don't know. Maybe
Did
one
they
of them.
do-
I think one of
did
them
they-
passed. No, maybe.
Did they do Gallagher and Children first?
Oh God.
So wait,
Gallagher warning.
I was going to say watermelon warning.
This guy's old.
So wait a second.
Yes.
So they got along until something happened.
No, they still got along. It's just that Gallagher.
I don't know if they got
Gallagher,
along. Well, one
there
bought
was-
the other one out. I think, I don't know what the deal was.
Yeah, he leased it. He leased the act to his brother, so he could go out and do Gallagher's act,
Right.
but he had to pay him a percentage of what he made.
And Gallagher was funny as hell, man. He had some great bits. I mean, he improvised really great. He had some great, aside from the smashing the watermelons and everything, he was a real funny guy. And you watch those early HBO specials, and
he used to be on a game show called Make Me Laugh. Make Me Laugh was a game show. This was a great game show back in the 70s, where basically somebody sat in a chair and 3 different comedians had a minute each. And if you didn't laugh, you won some sort of money prize or whatever it was.
Mhm.
So they would come out and they would do a minute of their best material, and you'd have to sit there, and the camera was on you, and if you snickered or you laughed and stuff, you were out.
Oh yeah.
It was a great show. I think Kip Adada hosted it.
See you, Ned. He's going to
Yeah,
get
man,
He didn't need the whole smashing thing, whichever, I don't know how he came up with that or why he came up with that, but his comedy could stand on its own because he was really a funny guy.
But that was the gimmick. I mean, who knows if he would have gotten the level of stardom in the 80s.
Oh yeah. And that's probably why HBO picked up on him and all that. Yeah. And the 80s kind of stuff. Who was it? With Dave Chappelle. Do you remember Dave Chappelle doing the Gallagher bit on the Chappelle show?
No.
He did Black Gallagher, I think.
Oh, I got to see that.
Yeah, maybe I do now.
Yeah.
I got to see
Black
that.
Gallagher. Pull that. Oh, that was a great
That sounds better than Gallagher 2.
It's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, I'm going to watch this, man.
Oh, that's good stuff. If you haven't seen that.
Oh, 12:06.
I think we're good.
John Biel isn't like, all right, let's go.
Oh, man. This looks amazing, man.
There it is.
I love it how he's even got the buck teeth. It's funny. Gallagher was Doug Henning without hair.
Doug Henning. I think he makes the Doug Henning joke, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, check that out.
Oh, I'm watching that.
Doug Henning's hair, Robin Williams suspenders.
The suspenders.
There's nothing about that. There's nothing about that that's original.
Oh, yeah, his one line of you drive on a parkway and park in a driveway. I remember that one. That was one of his little things. No?
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
The one I remember most is you know why God made kids cute? So you don't kill them.
Oh, it's true.
Stephen Wright, yeah, he was the other one that did those some of that dry humor.
Oh man,
some of.
He was the driest. He was the driest of the dry humor.
Oh, that's the guy that used to walk around stage with a friggin' glass of something, right?
No, he was just like he looked a lot like Laszlo Holyfeld from Real Genius.
With the bald guy? With
the bald guy. He was always like he was depressed.
Yeah,
walking back and forth. He was always on
microwave fireplace. I can lay down for the evening in 8 minutes.
Yeah, that guy, exactly.
About 10 years ago. No, that wasn't me. That kind of shit.
Who was the guy in the suit that was very dry that we used to walk around with a glass of something?
Larry Miller.
That's him. Okay, I didn't.
Larry Miller when he talks about how I'm out all night with my friends. He was the did the 6 stages of drunkenness when you're out drinking.
The doorman on Seinfeld.
Yeah, he was also the dean in a couple. I forget what movie it was.
Oh yeah,
but yeah. He always played a dry. Larry Miller is who you're thinking. He's great.
All right.
Well, thanks
Always
everyone
fun.
for hanging out with us for 3 hours on Straturday night. Happy birthday, Mom!
Happy birthday,
everyone!
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Miss Bull.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Randy Rhodes.
Happy birthday, Randy. And everyone else have a great week.
It's officially 2 months now, by the way.
Oh, the 6th. You're right. That's right.
Yeah. 2 months.
We miss you, Ed.
Oh.
Wow.
Anyway, the real show starts now. Only
That's
people
right.
can watch it are these people.
Happy trails, everyone. Thank you to our channel members.
Wow, Johnny, you're running out of room there, dude.
Everyone else.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of room. I know. I got to redo some of this.
Johnny, you know what you do? You should have a
scroll
recording that goes along with that. So record you saying all the names, and then put it into your DAW, your DAW, and speed it up like they do on commercials like that.
Yeah, and also I thought about doing like a scrolling scrolling thing as well. You know, because we have the option. I don't know if I can fit that many names in there, but maybe
Put them all with no spaces.
a few different ones.
Make a crossword puzzle with everybody's name.
Look at this one that's already in there. When was that?
We hear
We
you.
hear you,
John.
John Biel.
Oh, it was when it was a couple of weeks ago when I guess he couldn't hear us. He was asking if we could hear him, if his microphone was working.
Yeah. And what was it before I jumped on, John? Before we split here, there was a name that was said. Was it Wilma?
No, it's Barry McCockiner.
Dude, that's been said in the chat and on the show the last like 3 weeks in a row. And you're like, oh, I never heard that one before. I'm sitting here like watching the show. Before, I'm like, what are
I
you
said that?
Yes.
Oh,
Barry McCockiner.
well, I remember a lot of those. A lot of the Renus was posting all those names. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember before I jumped.
I guess maybe I missed one of them. Yeah.
I haven't heard that one before. It's pretty good. So,
Lenny Lou, hey. Thank you, Lenny Lou.
Very good.
7K, Johnny?
Yeah, got
Did you get
7,000
it?
today.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations! There it is, 7K, Johnny Beane. Awesome.
Thank you. It's only been 16 years.
Well, maybe if in Canadian listeners, that's 845,000.
And metric system.
Because we use the metric system up here.
Oh, well, now that makes more sense now.
Oh my god!
All right, John, let's get out of here so I can watch
Let's
Black
go,
Gallagher, man.
All right, folks. Well, thank you. Let's everyone have a great week, and let's play the outro here or something like that. We love you. Bitch. I didn't hear any of that. It was all just like, bam, bam,
I heard it all.
bam, 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 bam.